Hello, everyone. What is going on? My name is Timpedia, and welcome back to the TNT Podcast, episode 14?
Stop counting.
Fuck it. Yeah, I'm going to get it
It's been
wrong
a
every
while,
week.
man. It's already been a while.
How's it?
That's what-
It's been a week, even. Actually, a
No,
week
no,
and a
no.
day.
That's been like been a while since we've been doing this, since we started.
So we're on episode X, but in reality, it's X plus 1. No, I can't keep it going.
I get stopped.
Nope, it's over.
Stop it. The joke's dead.
But anyway,
Tim.
God damn it. We are here, as always. We have a slightly less in-depth, super long topic this week. Hopefully we won't go for about 3 hours again.
I think our longest episode by far.
Oh, it was, but yeah, no question. But we have plenty of news this week. Lots of it seems like Quickies is going to be a thing because we keep adding more stuff right before as the weeks have gone on.
I just remembered the thing that I wanted to talk about.
Adding it right now.
So
Yes.
we got plenty of stuff to talk about. So we're just gonna hop right in. Tyler? I asked you about this yesterday when we were playing.
Deadpool. Oh yeah, so it is true. So Deadpool 2, on the set of it the other day, a female stunt driver died during an accident.
Motorcycle crash, something.
Yeah, motorcycle crash. She failed to apply her brakes correctly, and she went sailing off the bike, and she passed away.
Damn.
Unfortunately, yeah, it sucks. And I guess it stopped production for like a hot second, just to pay respects. And I thought it was gonna be like for a while, but I guess as of today they resumed production.
Yeah, because me and Tyler, when we were playing D&D yesterday, Tyler mentioned that he had seen articles where production was halted for unknown time, but the articles I had seen didn't say that at all. So it looks like they just stopped production for a few days.
Yeah, just for like the day or two.
Yeah, but they're getting back to it because I'm sure Fox is like, okay, that's really sad, but we need this movie to come out.
Yo, I mean, that's their cash cow, man. Deadpool's
Yeah.
their cash cow. They need that to resurrect like the Phoenix from their failed attempts.
Oh God.
It's true.
But yeah, it's just kind of, obviously it's really sucky, but I mean, that is the risk. Like, it's a reminder that stunt work isn't just stunt work for funsies to do cool moves. There's a reason they have stunt people who often do these crazy things.
Yeah, for our entertainment. So
I was gonna add this under Quickies. I had it under Quickies, but I'll just take care of it now because it's pretty directly related. In another movie injury, Tom Cruise also broke his ankle on the set of MI6 in an accident. And
doesn't he famously do all of his own stunts?
He does. There's always, if you saw the shot from the trailer of him on the side of that cargo plane, for like MI5, that was real. The plane took off while he was outside the plane, like one safety wire holding him to the plane.
That's nuts.
That's fucking crazy. It's a good thing he hasn't been more injured in the past, but apparently, they won't push back the release date, so it's going to be 6 weeks of them doing other stuff for MI6 so that Tom Cruise can get his ankle better and then get right back to doing crazy stunts himself.
That's still a movie franchise I haven't seen that I've been meaning to.
So it's kind of funny. The original few are a lot... It kind of has evolved. It went on hiatus for a long time, kind of. But then when it came back with MI4 was actually really good. I really liked it. And I didn't see the last one yet, but that one... yeah, because 4 is where he's on the Burj Dubai, it's called. What's that building?
Don't ask me.
And he, is on this... That's another one where he did his own stunt. There were photos before the movie came out of people in the city looking up and seeing Tom Cruise on the side of the tallest building in the world actually climbing around out there.
Damn.
He's pretty legit. Tom Cruise, I mean, he's certainly got his own quirks, but the fact that he does his own stunts, they're really legit.
His own quirks is one way of saying it.
But
I love Katie Holmes.
Going from one type of movie news to another type of movie news.
Yo, this is nuts, though. Netflix.
I didn't hear about this one.
Oh, you didn't? Yo, this is nuts. So Disney plans on starting up their own streaming services.
I'm pretty sure Freeman brought it up last
Yeah, we
week on the
discussed this one
podcast.
last week, but I didn't hear
Oh, we
that
did?
Netflix started discussing with them again.
Oh yeah, Netflix started discussing like what's being removed. So far, all
Please,
the Disney
God.
Disney Pixar movies are already gonna be gone. So like we have like Moana and like a couple other solid movies on there that are gonna be taken off, but they're trying to keep the Star Wars movies on and like the Marvel movies on. So like right now, like we have like Civil War.
I know Rogue
Stuff
One's
like
on
that.
there, but are any other Star
Yeah,
Wars
Rogue
movies?
Okay. No, yeah, I don't think so. When I checked, the
I
only
think
one
it's
that
just,
was on
I
there
don't know
was
if
Rogue
Disney
One.
owns the rights to the older Star Wars movies. I think they're still
Yeah, but they
owned
would
by
for
Fox.
7.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
they
7.
would for 7. Yeah, 7 and Rogue One, they definitely would.
Actually, no, they should own them all because they bought Lucasfilm.
They bought Lucasfilm.
But I don't know if
and
they bought
LucasArts, and then closed
distribution
them
rights
down.
from Fox.
Oh, Fox had distribution, right?
Yeah.
Ah, see the law, distribution, and
Just like Tyler, it is the law.
I am the law.
Freeman, we made that joke so many times yesterday during D&D.
Leslie wanted to fucking kill us.
Yeah,
Oh my
I was
God.
talking about how when Tyler becomes Super Cop Man, I'm gonna buy him a Judge Dredd helmet, so that Tyler can and it'll have the little like flip down microphone, so that Tyler can just be like, when he pulls people over. I am the law.
I am the law. And then when I get, court-martialed and sent out into the desert, but I am the law.
And then the judge is gonna get it, and he'll just lean forward and be like, "Law."
Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, so it'd be really weird because we were talking about this when Disney was talking, when Freeman brought this up last week, especially the fact that Marvel made these shows with Netflix. It'd be really weird for them to lose the streaming rights.
Right.
Definitely.
Well, it looks like they're going to keep their shows at least. I mean, like you said, it does seem a little awkward that they're taking everything away.
I mean, it looks more and more like they're trying to create like a child-oriented streaming service, and stuff like the Marvel movies. I don't know how much that fits.
Or
their
Star
target
Wars?
demographic. I mean, I don't know. Star Wars actually does kind of fit
shit.
their,
Sorry, you know what else it is? It's not just the Star Wars movies. There's also that Clone Wars show.
Oh, the one with Cartoon Network?
yeah.
I'm
That's
pretty
right.
sure that's on Netflix, isn't it?
That is on
Interesting.
Netflix.
Oh man, that kills my make a kids streaming service theory.
Well, no, I'm saying that's on Netflix now, but I wonder how that works because that's not a movie, but Cartoon Network's also got to have some kind of say in that. God, it's
That
so
is true.
complicated. This shit's so
Yeah.
nuts. I still remember like 5 years ago when Netflix was just growing so fast, and everyone was like, "Oh shit, what's gonna happen when they started losing?" Because it was about 5 years ago when Netflix's deal started expiring.
Right.
Yeah, when the content started to disappear.
Yeah, so now we kind of and it's weird to think that we're kind of just in this world where everyone just kind of is like, well, fuck, now it's off Netflix. That sucks. Oh well, I'll just find something else to watch.
Oh yeah, was it? I also, and to supplement the Disney streaming, like did you see what they're gonna try to start off with?
Yeah, you told me
Dude,
yesterday, Freeman. I don't know if
These
you heard this.
bangers: Toy Story 4, the live-action Lion King, and the Frozen sequel.
Ooh.
Like,
They're
and
trying to make some money real fast.
no, Tyler
Yeah.
said these are like day and date with the movie releases. You said,
Yes.
right?
Oh no, with the
Home
with
video.
like day one streaming.
Oh, that's
like-
not it. I thought it was like movie, like go to the movies
Oh,
or go
no.
see it on here.
No, like I think that's what they're like when they open up the streaming services.
Oh.
Like those like titles will be available to stream just on Disney.
Oh, so when they go on sale.
Yeah.
Because they can't open it up for streaming if it's only for streaming on Disney.
Well, yeah, you
Yeah.
know what I mean. You know what I mean. Yeah, when the day they like, you can buy it, like you can purchase it, it's gonna be on their streaming service.
Yeah.
Also, which is crazy because these are 3 anticipated titles. Well, I don't know about Toy Story 4. I didn't even know
See-
there was
Yo,
like
that's anticipated.
It's so weird because Toy Story 1, 2, and 3 are all really good movies, but it's like we don't 3
They didn't need a 4. They
you didn't even need 3.
No, you needed 3.
No,
No,
you
needed
didn't.
3. Toy Story 2
needed
wasn't
3.
good. Get out of here, Tim.
Yeah, 2 kind of
No,
sucks.
but it doesn't matter.
Right like the wind bullseye.
Oh, okay, but 3 was so delayed, they could have easily just not done it.
Also
Except
true.
It was really good.
It was really
good,
good. I'm not
though.
arguing, but I'm saying until it came out, no one thought it was going to be good. Everyone's like, it's been so long since Toy Story happened. This movie can't be
right.
good.
You're right.
I mean,
They're
when
just
they were
doing a
first talking
cash grab, and then, oh, look, it's fucking great.
I mean, the thing is, when they were first talking about 3, it had a completely different plot synopsis. It was like the Buzz Lightyear action figures get recalled or something. And that went on hiatus. And then when it suddenly came back, it had a different script. And what I personally want to believe is someone saw this new script and said, oh shit, this is good, let's make it now.
Well, hopefully they do that for the 4th one, because
Yeah.
honestly, I genuinely still don't feel like we need a 4th Toy Story movie.
Oh no, we don't need
Same.
one. We don't need one.
Yeah,
But
the way
I
they
wanna
ended
see
it.
it.
Like, it was such a perfect ending. Why are you ruining that? We literally had the arc of Andy as a kid, Andy as a teenager, and Andy... Like, it's literally the 3 stages of
Yeah,
being a toy got covered.
'cause that's all
Yeah.
Disney does, is they just ruin shit.
Oh my god.
They ride that horse until it's dead.
All right, we're mixing it up this week. Let's get our Overdank news before we get to Magic later.
Over dang! I'm surprised we added this because I haven't played Deathmatch.
I didn't play it either, but I wanted to announce it because it shows that Blizzard is actually listening. Because one of the biggest things people have been requesting is they don't like playing the payload or playing with the team or doing anything this game is based upon. And they're like, I want a deathmatch mode where I
Oh,
just kill people
hell
and do
yeah,
my
dude.
own
Now I'll
thing
play Overdank.
and fucking ignore all your design philosophy. So they roll out Jeff from the Overwatch team to say, we're listening. Here's your shitty ass deathmatch mode. Go play
Here's your
the
shitty ass.
I fucking hope that becomes the most popular mode in about 2 weeks.
Nah, there's no way it would.
Probably not, because it's not a game built for that. That's like saying League has a deathmatch mode, but it'd be fucking great if it did.
Like, it's just going to be everyone only plays offensive heroes and it invalidates half the characters.
Yes!
or more.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Like, that's why it's not going to work. But for people who want to play it, who would rather play Hanzo and not actually play the game with me, go do it. Go play Hanzo in Deathmatch. I fucking challenge you to do that.
See, all
Yeah.
those people who want to play the off-meta champs can go just in Deathmatch and just kill people. It's perfect.
I mean, it's fine to play off-meta heroes when the time calls for it, but when you're like, I want to open with this blatantly terrible pick, that's when I
Yeah.
get mad.
Yo, I'm starting the game with offensive Torb. Try and stop me. But then sometimes you win because the other team just doesn't pick a fair, and you're like, all right, I guess we're just gonna steamroll this payload.
Like,
'Cause
sometimes
no
it
one's
pays
gonna do
off,
anything about it.
but
Yeah.
with Hanzo, more often than not, it doesn't, and that's why I'm shitting on him. But long story short, unless they make deathmatch like an arcade mode thing, probably won't play it that much. I like sticking to the objective.
No, that's fair. I mean, it is an objective game at heart.
Yeah,
But
Yeah,
it's
it's designed. The characters were designed.
no,
for,
definitely. But it's nice
yeah.
that they took something that clearly had, like, it is a first-person shooter at heart.
yeah.
Like, give it a deathmatch mode.
Yeah.
It'd be funny
I
if
mean,
they started
it's good
going
to
more towards shootery stuff. Like, do the
Oh,
opposite
God.
of Call of Duty, where Call of Duty started adding objectives and stuff. Like, go more towards shooter now.
Oh man, that'd be interesting.
No, they
But
won't, because it
They're
doesn't. 'cause you
listening. They
can't.
might.
No, you can't, because the abilities. The abilities don't
Yeah.
work like that. There's too many abilities that are just based on team play.
Pretty much.
Anyway, more video game news. Tyler, I'm so sad.
This is bullshit.
Crackdown 3 delayed to 2018. This game's never gonna. This is the ghost game of this generation. This is the
this the
game
Duke
that's just
Nukem Forever?
never gonna fucking
Honestly.
come out. They showed this like 3 years ago at E3 when the Xbox One was announced.
Yeah.
Fuck, I want this
Hey
game
man,
to come out already.
I'm okay with this. I know it sounds fucked up, but I'm okay with this.
Tyler, stop being a Duke Nukem Forever apologist. God.
Hey man, I need to fucking what's it called? I need to get through Breath of the Wild, and I still want to play Nier Automata. So I got
Oh
some
my
shit to
God.
go through. All right.
Did they previously announce a release date for this one, or was it just
Yeah,
like
it was
tentative
supposed
for
to.
2017?
It's delayed to 2018. It was. I mean, I don't know if it had. Okay, I don't know if it had an exact date, but it was supposed to come
Nah,
out
it didn't
this
have a
year.
date.
They
It didn't
show-
have an exact date.
I'm pretty sure at E3 back in June they were like, "Coming this year, Crackdown 3,"
Yeah.
and it was like, "Nope, now it's 2018," and it's like, come on.
Sucks.
I mean, this game clearly has gone through a rebuild because back then, when it was first announced, they were like, you can destroy the whole city thanks to cloud. We're going to use the cloud to calculate how the city explodes.
Oh, man.
And it's like, clearly that's not... Well, that was also when the Xbox One had to be played online.
Okay.
Like, clearly this game was kind of tied to those systems somehow, so now they have to rework a bunch of crap.
I want to play it. I just don't want it being, like...
I mean, this is
like
going to be our
Crackdown.
co-op Let's Play, Tyler, where we're both going to play it on, hopefully, PC, and just play through Crackdown 3, because the first one was so fun.
Yes. The one was so good.
And, oh, no, that's our second co-op Let's Play, because we're going to have the podcast Let's Play, where we do
Destiny 2
on PC.
We were just talking
we're
about
doing
that. Oh, God. All right, I guess I'm doing
All right.
it.
Hell yeah! Well, we gotta
happening?
wait, because
Kill
Tyler, I
me.
was telling you how many Let's Plays while free... Or I think I was
I'm
telling both.
fine with waiting on Destiny 2. I can wait on Destiny 2.
I can wait, because I'm starting like 3 Let's Plays in the next 2 days, even though Val's coming back tomorrow now. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna be like,
right.
sorry, I gotta lock myself in the office for 3 hours every day to get all these recordings done.
It's good for her, though.
No, but yeah, that sucks about Crackdown 3. Can't wait to play it. But yeah, waiting's not the end of the world. Double Trouble Godzilla time.
Oh, man, we got double announcements.
We got 2 announcements. Freeman just showed me one of these. I had literally never heard of this, but Freeman, just before the podcast, we were starting recording, and Freeman's like, Tim, what's this Godzilla news? Is this about this Netflix animated movie? And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And
It's
so,
getting sweaty.
so I look
saw
up the
you
trailer. Apparently Netflix is someone's doing, it looks like 3D CG, like if Berserk didn't look terrible.
Damn.
But it's a Godzilla Planet movie. I don't know.
It looked pretty interesting.
I mean, it looks
I
like
know-
either Godzilla. It looks like humanity has to flee into space because we're getting demolished by monsters or something.
I honestly have no idea because I don't speak Japanese, and I don't think there were subtitles in this trailer.
No, there weren't.
There weren't, but all I saw was the CG looks not terrible. The faces look pretty good. The voice cast for this is some top-notch voice acting.
Yeah, Freeman was going
Oh,
pretty
man.
hard on this voice cast
Oh man,
while I
the
was
voice
watching the
cast
trailer.
is amazing. But it looks like a pretty classic interpretation of Godzilla. It even has like the old school roar in there.
Yeah, that's real good.
It looks pretty interesting. But it's gonna be on Netflix. I'm probably gonna watch it.
Yeah, that's the kicker for me. It's just like Castlevania, where I'm fine watching it because it's going to be on Netflix. But the one frame of Godzilla at the end didn't look fantastic.
It didn't look amazing, but I want to see what it's like when he's in motion.
Yeah,
honestly, I saw the shot and I thought his eyes were closed and he was going to open them and roar. But he doesn't open his eyes. It just cuts away and he roars. And I was like, wait a minute. So were his eyes open the whole time and I couldn't see them?
And there was a shot where I swear that the side of the screen was like just a cliff, but then it kind of seemed like it was supposed to be Godzilla with like this gray, scaly look.
Yeah, he's got this like polyhedral kind of look to him.
Yeah,
I don't know.
he doesn't look like green scaly thing, like green flaky scales, kind of like classic Japanese Godzilla. He looks kind of like rock crustacean encrusted, or like maybe they're going for because he lives under lives in the ocean, so he's got like growths or something. I don't know. It
Maybe.
doesn't. We'll know more. There's only one trailer.
Yeah, it's really going to come down to how he looks when he's in motion, because there's like it's hard to get these giant large things to look realistic in motion.
Yeah, no, definitely. They did show a shot. There was a shot where there's like a cloud, there's like smoke, and then you see the blue beam flash through it, and that was sick.
That's gonna be cool.
But in news that is more exciting to me, so I guess I'm crazy, but originally they had announced, because after this new King Kong movie, which I still haven't seen, there was going to be Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yeah, I heard about that one.
But the headline I just saw said that next year Godzilla King of the Monsters is coming out. Maybe King Kong is in that, but they announced that there is going to be Rodan, Mothra, and motherfucking King Ghidorah are all going to be in that movie, and that is so amazing.
What a lineup! Jeez.
That is the sickest. Oh my god, I don't even care about Mothra and Rodan. They're boring as shit. But King Ghidorah is the baddest motherfucker that Godzilla ever had to fight. Especially when he's Mecha King Ghidorah, when the aliens rebuild his severed head. Oh my god, I'm so excited to see what super crazy lightning shooting golden King Ghidorah looks like in this new amazing CGI movie.
What a weeb.
Oh god. I'm just pumped.
I like how all these years later Godzilla is still so relevant.
Dude, he's so... Okay.
What about Godzilla 2000, though?
Yo, that movie was pretty bad.
See, that's why I'm amazed that he's still relevant.
I legitimately... So I think I've told this story before. I remember the night in January of, like, 2000 when my dad went out and came back, I think with my uncle or our former neighbor, and he had our first widescreen TV and a DVD player, and Godzilla 2000 was our only DVD. And I remember him turning on the TV and doing setup stuff while putting the DVD in. And I remember the title screen of Godzilla cycling and being amazed, like, oh, it's just sitting there. It's not a VHS. This is crazy.
Yo, man, the future was then.
I legitimately just remember in my mind standing in my living room, seeing that thing cycle and being amazed that you didn't have to do anything. I'm like, Dad, press play. And he's like, no, I gotta set up.
Yo, kids these days don't know.
They don't understand.
They really don't.
Whippersnappers listening.
Dude, you put the tape in the thing. You better be ready to go or hit that pause button because that movie's just going, dude.
You're about to get some loud ass trailers in your face.
Oh, you want to not screw over the person watching the movie later? When you're done, can't go to bed. Got to rewind that shit.
You can rewind.
No, but I actually. So a lot of people complain about the Godzilla 2014 movie. And rightfully so, it definitely has problems. But I thought that movie was, like, I loved every single thing that Godzilla did in that movie. Like, that first shot, I could watch that first shot where have you guys seen the movie?
Yeah, I've seen it.
I haven't.
Oh my fuck. Freeman, it takes like half the movie for him to show up, and he barely does anything. But the first shot you see of his whole body, it starts at his foot, and it does one of those just like the choir, like where it goes up. Yeah, and they get louder and louder as it goes up to his face, and then it goes quiet for a second. Then he just reaches his head back and just starts roaring, and the roar just keeps going for like 20 seconds, getting louder and louder. And it's like that Simpsons THQ bit or THX bit where it just gets louder and louder.
Oh man!
And it's just like. You almost have to cover your ears, but I was so hyped that whole time because it's like lungs the size of a building are just roaring at you for 20 seconds, and it was so good. Fuck, I love that movie.
Fans go to see.
And rightfully so, a lot of people complained about how much Godzilla's in the movie. Oh, I can't say it because I don't want to spoil it for you, Freeman. You have to watch that movie because the final SmackDown... Tyler, you know what I'm talking about. The fucking
end. Worth it.
Oh my god, it's so
that
good.
That final fight scene was so worth it.
Freeman, do you want me to tell you?
Freeman, Kick-Ass.
This is the first time I've heard people like praising this movie. I thought you guys would have hated it or something.
Nah,
dude, fuck no.
If it was just that last scene, I would have been all right. So I watched like 20 minutes of this movie. I'm okay with that.
No, Freeman. Here's the thing: the bit with the humans is pretty boring. The trick is that almost always happens in a Godzilla movie. There's always dumb humans running around doing dumb shit, trying to kill Godzilla or something.
Yeah.
That's not news. That's not a different thing. It's just different. Like, even in the Godzilla 2000, that's not a good movie or really about Godzilla, but it's mostly about dumb humans. Compared to that movie, Godzilla is in this movie way more. And he has much more of an impact on what's going on than just being like, oh, somehow Godzilla defeated New York City, even though he's basically just a big lizard. Whereas this Godzilla is like fucking huge. This is a big thing. It's so. I'm gonna go way. That was the first Blu-ray I ever bought for myself. I bought it back when I was at school in Utah. And there's still a picture on my Facebook of me holding that Blu-ray and being like, my first ever Blu-ray for myself. Fuck, I gotta rewatch that movie. Anyway, time to move on to the other hype stuff.
Oh no!
Time for Tyler to go to bed for a few minutes.
Yep.
This one's not too long.
No, not really. Last week we talked about the first 2 decks of the Magic the Gathering Commander 2017. 4 decks for the Commander product this year. That was Dragons and Cats. And on Wednesday and Thursday last week, we got Wizards and Vampires.
Yeah, we got the official confirmation it was Mardu Vampires and Grixis Wizards, because I don't think we knew it at this time last week.
We had that
Wizards,
leak for we had that Japanese article leak, but we didn't actually have official Wizards cards yet. It's a very divisive product.
Yeah, let's to put it lightly. This is the first time where so generally speaking, these pre-constructed products are usually for newer players.
Yeah.
But with the way Commander's been the last couple of years, the Commander sets have produced these pretty powerful decks straight out of the box. So everyone's had this kind of expectation that the decks would be very good. Especially with last year. With 4-color decks, they pulled it off very well.
Yeah.
But especially, I know right now the Dragons deck and the Wizards deck are causing a little bit of controversy because people think, for anyone who doesn't know, the Dragons is 5 colors. So
yep.
you need some pretty decent lands to get a playable deck going. And they kind of really didn't do so.
They really phoned it in and went cheapskate with this. They clearly didn't want to print anything of value.
Yeah, even simple stuff like putting, what is it called? Chromatic Lantern, which was in last year's Commander set. That would have made fixing so much better, and they just kind of skipped over that. And
a shockingly expensive card.
Yeah, really. It really shouldn't be, because it's such a...
Well, no, it is, because it hasn't been printed that many times, and the Commander products are the only place it gets reprinted these days.
Basically. But the other one, Wizards, everyone is kind of complaining that it's not quite as cohesive as a tribe as the other decks are, and it's generally, as an out-of-the-box product, it's kind of underwhelming, but some of the new individual cards are actually really strong. Like, there are a couple of Commanders who people think are going to be really broken come this time.
That's what I wanted to say. So after looking at... I haven't sat down and looked at all the deck lists because I frankly don't care. I'm not going to buy... I know we all talked about it. I'm not going to buy one of these decks.
Oh, I am.
I just finished building my SRAM deck. That's my new Commander deck for right now. And honestly, none of the new Commanders are that exciting to me. Like, Mardu Vampires. Mardu Vampires actually looks cool. I have Marchesa. I don't need another Mardu deck. Cats. I don't care. I have Sigarda for green-white, and honestly,
the cats are honestly a little underwhelming.
Cat Tribal doesn't do anything for me. Dragons. I don't want to spend all the money to make a 5-color deck good. That's what you have to do, and I'm not going to do it. And I'm not playing that out of the box.
And make that budget 5-color mana base and make it work, because the cost reduction on Dragons is so cool from the Dragons ability. I don't know. It speaks to me. I want to play that deck. So
I mean, that's honestly the second most playable. And then Wizards, the thing that I was most hyped for. The main Commander. See, the problem with Wizards is so many of them, like the fact that this is all tribal, but Wizards doesn't want a lot of Wizards. They want a few Wizards that are really good.
Yeah, Wizards, they don't care about critical creature mass. Wizards have a tendency to care about the spells that are in your deck.
Yeah, like
non-creature spells.
So the newest, the face Commander with Eminence, with the new Commander ability for the box of Wizards, has the ability pay a mana, make a copy of any wizard that enters the battlefield, and then you can, if it's on the field, you can tap 5 wizards to hit someone for 5. That's such a waste. That ability almost doesn't even need to be there. It's like they couldn't think of anything better.
Yeah.
But the pay 1 to clone a wizard is great when you have something like Snapcaster Mage to play another spell. But the problem is this all takes so much mana.
It is really mana intensive.
Like, my God, this deck, it's like Grixis colors, and it's so expensive for all these things. Like Snapcaster, you're already paying 2 mana for the wizard, at least a 3rd mana for a spell. And then if you want to do it again, another mana for the Snapcaster, and at least 1 more mana. That's a minimum of 6 mana, and you get to play 2 spells from your graveyard, which is great. But Snapcaster's not even in the precon.
Yeah.
Like
a lot of the really good wizards aren't, because they are expensive cards, and Wizards does care about not putting too much value in any one deck.
yeah, like
That kind of cripples them here.
it's kind of funny. The Dragon's deck has a terrible mana base, but it has by far the most impactful cards because they printed like every major dragon because so many dragons are good but cheap.
I think there are like 14 legendary dragons in that
Yeah,
deck.
it's fucking nuts. You could buy the box and make 14 different decks out of the dragons all in it. Cats has like a few. I don't know. You just build a Ranbor or Miri, maybe. You don't build the equipment guy. He costs too much mana. I guess you
He
could.
seems pretty cool, but there's some better equipment commanders to go.
I mean,
with.
it's cool because it's green-white, but like 6 mana for something that just fetches an equipment, it's like, it's... And then there's
I mean, his equipment's pretty good.
the coolest, the funniest thing though is that Grixis Wizards probably has the best secondary commander, which is the wizard that's basically a Snapcaster made for free every turn with flying. That card's sick.
Yeah, that is really good. It's between that one and the one with the like exile an artifact or something. You can activate any ability. That one is cool. Just 'cause I think it's fun to build around. But yeah, the one that you mentioned, the Snapcaster on a commander.
Yeah,
it's good.
That's probably the one
gonna be
I would
fun
build
to
a deck
fun out
out
of
of.
that box.
That's probably the... Because the other thing... Okay, Tyler, I'm sorry we're talking about this for so long, but this is something I've been thinking about when I was thinking about these tribes, Friedman. Wizards... How can I phrase this? Like, we talked about how Wizards wants lots of spells, but all this cloning and stuff... There's better clone commanders out there. There's a blue commander that turns into a clone. And you already have all those of every clone effect is blue or green blue. Adding red and black adds nothing to that. So then you're just talking about
cloning effect.
Yeah, cloning, like making a copy of, because that's what the commander out of the box does.
Yeah.
Like I think of that as cloning, and like I don't know, it sucks because also a lot of people point out like the Wizards deck has no counter spells except for a line on Silumgar's command.
Oh yeah. So this is what I mentioned before about how they make precons more for like new beginner players. Beginners hate getting countered, and this is part of that philosophy that they don't,
The funniest thing is that in the Dragon deck, Taigam prevents your stuff from getting countered, but out of the box, you can't get countered by anything except Silumgar's command.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, it's one of those things, like, there's nothing more infuriating than having your commander countered. So they're like,
yeah.
let's A, get rid of counters, and B, make your commander do a shit from the command zone anyway, with Eminence. So,
yeah.
I mean,
this is Wizards' design philosophy.
I think unless you're a newbie, this is my final thought on the product. I think unless you're a newbie, you buy some cards and build something else. Build it yourself. Like, I know that's not saying much, but with things like last year, Breya out of the box was fine. Mostly because those commanders were so good. Every single one of the commanders last year was good in some way. I have built 2 of them. I would like to someday build at least one deck made of partner commanders. Last year was so exciting. We had partner. We had all these cool combinations.
So much combinations coming out.
We had the 4 colors. Hell, we did the commander video where I played that Yidris deck with like 120 cards, and it was so cool. Like, the only one that sucked was Saskia, and she had cool partners in her deck, so it wasn't like she was worthless.
I think more of the issue is just that Tribal is a very focused theme because it's not... it like determines how you want your gameplay to play out, and they kind of built around that, as opposed to previous years where it was colors. You could do anything within those colors. Your whole deck didn't have to fit with one thing one commander was doing because you had 3. But on this one, it was kind of all 3 commanders had to play into that tribal theme.
Yeah, it feels like it's a lot more limited by focusing on a theme instead of colors.
Yeah.
It says it's like, what are you going to do? Everyone's playing a tribal deck if you buy all 4 decks and sit down against each other.
Yeah,
I will say the new cards are exciting. They're always exciting. I feel like they're making great new cards for Commander.
Oh, no, definitely.
Clearly, they're getting even better at exploring Commander's design space every single year.
Oh, definitely.
But the box product is noticeably worse than last year.
Definitely. I don't think we're going to see a huge buyout like we saw with Atraxa or with
No, because
Marin 2 years ago.
there's certainly nothing that beats
There's
Atraxa.
no one that stand out that looks like it's going to destroy the Commander meta, but there are interesting cards in these packs. I know.
That's the other thing. Like we were saying just a second ago, the colors mattered so much more. Atraxa being 4 colors in arguably the 4 best colors of Commander means that you could do literally you could do anything with Atraxa. Literally, she could play into any archetype. What are you going to do with the Dragon? Oh, I'm going to play dragons.
I got to play dragons. There's nothing else you can do with it.
Like, the most you could do in my head is you could play
the green-white cat and just play value creatures.
Well, I was going to say you could either play the Snapcaster Wizard or you could play Ramos into a combo deck. 5-color combo.
Oh, yeah, the 5-color combo.
Like, what is that? That's nothing.
He's the new head of these 5-color good stuff decks, which I think is pretty cool.
Ramos?
But, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Ramos is the best dragon to come out of this in terms of general gameplay. Like, Dragon's fine, but Dragon's insanely good but it costs so much mana, but...
Yeah, right, but for a dragon deck, it's good, but Ramos is good even if you're not in a dragon deck.
Exactly. Ramos is one of the only things that isn't a tribal.
Like, he's what they need to be doing with these sets. Make cards that are good in the tribal sense, but also good not in the tribal sense.
Yeah.
That's hard to do while having a focused product like
this is one of those boxes where people are going to buy the box, throw out the main commander unless they're dedicated to the archetype, and then brew something else.
Definitely.
Anyway, we're done talking about Magic. We're going to move on to...
Short one, guys. No problem.
Yo, this was only like 10 minutes this week.
Only?
I'm sorry Overwatch didn't have enough news this week, Tyler.
Now let's make the things go a little quicker.
Yeah, this is the Quickie news. The first thing is I think we had an article about this a while ago, at least a few months ago, because I remember it happened while I remember reading about it walking to work when I was back in New Jersey a few months ago.
Yeah, so this was new news. So it was a couple months ago that they suddenly switched Battle.net, Blizzard's game loader application, to using the name Blizzard app, because that was what it showed up for on mobile. And they said, we don't want to confuse Hearthstone players. They're going from mobile to PC, so let's rename everything Blizzard app, because Battle.net, they viewed it as like a relic of their older systems.
And
like
then
Warcraft,
everyone under the sun was like, this is fucking stupid. We know what Battle.net is. You've had it for 20 years since the 90s. Keep Battle.net. And finally Blizzard's like, okay, fine. We'll be less stupid. We recognize that Battle.net's important. We're going to call it Blizzard Battle.net.
But there's been like very little recognition about them being wrong. And like, you go back to their original announcement article. I remember the article had these 2 lines in a row. It was like, we're proud to announce blah, blah, blah. We are always open to criticism. We would like your feedback. And then right under that, comments are disabled for this post.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I think they got they didn't get a lot of positive feedback from it, like in the slightest.
What person is going to say that's a good thing? Like, outside of PR, people being like, well, this is a reason. Market research shows that Battle.net is antagonistic or some bullshit. Like, outside of those fake reasons, who's going to be like, no, we don't want Battle.net anymore?
I know, it was one of those things where for the people it matters to, it does matter. The people it doesn't matter to, they're still going to use it because they don't use it because it's called Battle.net.
Yeah,
they use it because they want to play these games.
Exactly.
So it was purely a marketing thing, but it looks like it wasn't doing what they needed to, and there's a lot of stuff they have incorporated. Like, you can't go into StarCraft 1, which they're now doing this whole remaster for, and just say, oh, just change everything to say Blizzard app instead of Battle.net without really changing the code.
So dumb.
Whatever, man. I don't care.
All right, Tyler, give us the other quickie that you brought to our attention just now.
Oh, yeah. Robert Kirkman and the other producers on Walking Dead are suing AMC because they feel they're owed money. Not like Robert Kirkman's rich enough. But yeah,
I feel like that line doesn't work, though. There's too many cases where people are like, oh, they're rich enough. It's like, no, I gotta... This is a case of, like, I gotta protect my IP.
I'm not... Well, no, yeah, like, I'm not saying that, like, Robert Kirkman, like, isn't do any, like, isn't, like, work... Because, like, he posts, he prints, he does a lot of work, right? Not only is he the CEO of Image Comics, which I had only learned, like...
Oh, shit.
A year ago? I never knew that. I was like, holy shit. Which is strange because he, not only is he CEO of Image, but he writes 2 comics on his own. He writes Invincible, and he writes Walking Dead, and he also works on the show.
It's a lot of stuff to do.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't understand how this dude, like, he must have, like, a Meeseeks box or something like that. But
Can
like,
do.
Hi, I'm Mr. Kirkman's helper. Look at me.
look at me, life is meaningless.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so like him and other people, they're suing AMC for saying that like AMC is selling like the rights to the show for like less than like what Walking Dead is worth.
Oh.
And also this one I kind of don't understand too much. Overstating production costs. Right? So I guess saying that like stuff is worth more than they actually are, right? But when in reality it's like they're getting this much and probably redistributing the money. But he's asking for, let's see here, like 100 at least, was it? Oh yeah. Or this one guy, this one producer, Darabont, he is asking for 280 million just for himself.
Wow.
And then if you combine the rest of the producers, they're estimating into at least $1 billion that AMC will be owed, or that has to owe the producers. And it's not halting production or anything. It's just like that's it. But I think it's interesting.
Everyone's getting greedy.
Who knows? Maybe it is wrong. Maybe they're not supposed to. But like, all I know is that this could put a huge dent in the show. Because we're talking about the creator of the franchise here,
Yeah.
right? Like the one who like made the entire thing. We're not talking about some like rando guy or whatever like who's producing the show. Like we're talking about like, you know, it's almost like if George R. R. Martin, right, had a problem with the show, HBO, he's gonna sue HBO. Like there's gonna be some bad blood now between the creator and like the show. It's gonna be awkward. Maybe things won't be relinquished as much, and maybe the money that like they take from like the production that would have gone from the show is going to go to these guys, and it's like who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah,
like production value could go down now. So yeah, that's about it. And then
the final quickie.
Yeah, I'll say segues
because you mentioned it.
Yeah, the leakers for Game of Thrones, the ones that have been like threatening to like put out stuff, finally been caught in India. But it's funny. Yeah, they've been caught. There's like about like I don't know 4 of them or something.
Yeah, and then today.
Yeah, and then today.
Yeah.
Leading into today, it was leaked in Spain. HBO accidentally released.
They aired the full like English episode.
Yeah, this upcoming episode for streaming. Real quick, and everybody saw it. It's out there now. I think it's hilarious because they're like, "Oh, we did work so hard to catch these guys."
And then they
bonkers, man.
Put it up on their own service.
Yo, they Wizards of the Coast themselves. Just spoilers.
It's just fucking ridiculous.
So yeah, that was funny. Now we can segue to
the weeb shit. Let's get it on. All I do is talk about Netflix here, so this is hopefully the last thing I have to talk about them for a while. But they finally released the second half of Little Witch Academia, only 7 weeks after the show finished airing. No biggie.
Damn.
So now I'm finally gonna watch it because I was honestly too lazy to pirate this one. So I'll give it a shot. Starting soon. I'm about to wrap up a bunch of different shows I was watching. But hopefully it's good. It has a lot. It's been people singing praises towards it, so it should be good. But this is cool because last weekend was Otakon, and unlike with Anime Expo weekend, usually the industry doesn't announce too much stuff there. It's more of like an American convention at heart. And one of the big things that Aniplex was celebrating was that it's the 10th anniversary since the Gurren Lagann dub started airing on American television back when Discovery Channel had Anna Mondays. Which was great.
Freeman, let me interject real quick. I randomly yesterday decided to rewatch the final battle again or listen to it while I was at work. And I told Leslie I was doing that, and then my next text to her said, "Leslie, when did you get taller than me?"
Vomit.
And so her text response was vomit.
Oh, man.
It was pretty good. Anyway, keep going.
It was great. I saw the video. It was pretty cringy, but they had like a good chunk of the core voice cast on. They had Simone Kamina, Yoko, Lord Genome, Rossio, one of the sisters. They had Steve Bloom, who was what's his name?
Oh, the mechanic guy. I know who you're talking
Leron.
about.
He was
Leron.
doing his campy gay impression the entire video. Which
Campy
for anyone who's watched like Cowboy Bebop, Steve Bloom has a pretty deep voice.
Yeah, he really does.
Campy gay voice is hilarious. But it was cool hearing all of them give their input on like what they thought of the characters, what it was like at the time when they were first recording it. Apparently Steven's voice actor listens to the soundtrack a lot. He said Ro Fight the Power.
Yeah, holy shit. I gotta watch this video now.
But they had Kamina's voice actor who also does Gohan from Dragon Ball Z. I met him at Anime Next a couple years ago.
Shit.
He was there, and Yoko's voice actor there to present it. And one of my friends who I know from going to Anime Next every year, we both did a Gurren on cosplay a couple years ago.
Yeah, boy.
And she does Yoko pretty regularly at these conventions. And she got asked by Aniplex America to cosplay at their panel where they were celebrating the 10th anniversary.
Whoa.
Damn, that's pretty cool.
So that was pretty cool. Happened this weekend. In terms of this still isn't anime news. This is live action, but the live action JoJo movie premiered. And it's not getting too good reviews.
Oh no!
Basically, if
shocker!
If you like JoJo, you'll think it's okay. If you didn't previously like JoJo, it's terrible. But this is continuing the trend of bad live action adaptations of anime movies. Which
so
right now, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So right now on the horizon, we have the Tokyo Ghoul movies coming up real soon. And a lot of hype has been killed for it. Someone's like, oh no, now there's no chance of there ever being a good live-action animation. Because JoJo is like the savior of anime. Everyone loves it. And they fucked this one up, too.
So I was going to say one of the podcasts I listen to every week, I remember when they talked about the JoJo movie a little bit, and they basically said, if you know what JoJo is, you can enjoy this movie a lot more. But if you don't know what JoJo is or anything about it, you're going to be so fucking lost this whole movie. It's not going to make any sense to you.
Basically. That's sort of the way it is to these anime movies. Like, if you try to watch the live-action Attack on Titan, good fucking luck. That movie doesn't make any sense.
Also, Freeman, are you going to the next topic?
I can pause for a second if you want to say something.
Well, I just wanted to interject. So I was just on my phone while you were talking about the Little Witch Academia, and I checked the Magic subreddit. This is super quick, Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
You know how so for Commander 2017, they gave the decks early to the Command Zone podcast for their game night show, and Star City Games just put out their video of the Commander for Commander Versus.
Yeah.
And in the comments of the video on Reddit, everyone is talking about how apparently the wizard, according to both videos, the wizard's deck just doesn't work that well.
It's 2 for 2 on not playing well right now.
So I was just reading the comments, and everyone's like, yeah, as far as we can tell, this deck just doesn't work out of the box, and you need to rebuild this deck from the ground up.
Basically.
It's like, fuck, man, come on. But anyway, sorry, go ahead. Go to the next one.
Anyway, next piece of news. This is the controversial anime news. Gundam Seed is getting redubbed and redistributed.
Why is that controversial?
Gundam Seed's the worst Gundam, but it's also the most popular Gundam.
What?
It was I think it was the first Gundam released in the 2000s, right after they made the shift over to digital animation. And I've seen the first season. I guess I've seen Gundam Seed. I haven't seen Gundam Seed Destiny. It's okay. It's not the best Gundam, but for a lot of people, it was their first. And a lot of people loved it. It sold well, so they are redubbing it. And the controversy is that there's still a lot of Gundams that haven't been redubbed or distributed ever. Basically, everything before Gundam Seed probably doesn't have a dub. Maybe the original Gundam does. I don't know if Zeta or Turna Gundam.
Wait, was Seed before Wing?
Seed was after Wing.
Yeah, Seed was after Wing.
G Gundam and Wing both got dubbed during that era of like 90s anime taking off.
Yeah. But
Gundam Wing it hasn't really been re-released.
It certainly hasn't. There's no.
And I lost the rights to it. I know there's like some kind of collector's edition box that just went on sale, but it's like $300.
Yeah, I've looked
original series
a bunch of times, and there's just no good. Like Amazon has nothing.
No,
there's no box set anywhere.
We're just now getting Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans out dubbed, which is pretty. I love that show. It was really good, but it's not a core Gundam. Gundam Unicorn proved that there is a lot of interest in the West for dubbed or even just releases for Gundam, but everyone's pissed that Gundam Seed is the one that's getting redubbed. It's just okay.
Out of all the ones.
Yeah, right. And speaking of English releases, this last one's pretty interesting. Aria the Animation, which is it's kind of an older show. They are crowdfunding an English release because it has never actually gotten a formal English release. And it was $110,000 they wanted pledged, and we still have a whole month to go, and they just broke, or they're about to break 100,000.
No, they did. It's I just clicked on the link. It's at 103,000 right now. About like $72 from 104.
Yeah, this is one of those shows that pretty much everyone's seen. I haven't watched it yet. I want to watch it. Crunchyroll just got it subtitled earlier this week.
There we go. All right, we're back. Technical difficulties. Tyler just had his microphone seize up for no reason. So
yeah, I don't know, man.
Freeman can keep talking about the Aria Kickstarter.
So as Tim was just saying, I don't know if this is going to cut off or not, but it just broke the 100,000 while we were recording this podcast.
No, I'll probably leave that bit. Yeah.
But the interesting thing was I was reading through like what they actually offered for this because I looked there was less than 1,000 backers. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, there's currently 926 backers for over $100,000.
I was like, people are spending a shit ton of money on this. Why? And I looked at it, and I went down, and it was only $50 was the minimum you had to do in order to actually get a Blu-ray copy of this release. I'm like, that's not unheard of. That's how much these Blu-ray releases cost. So I went further down, and it was like, for $2,500, you get a voice acting role in the show.
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah.
There it is.
Sponsors, but if you were the upper two tiers, if you donated that much, you got a voice acting role. Which
so,
it wasn't like main character, it's probably a background character, but still.
So they have sold out of both of their $1,000 tier ones, all four. There's one person on 5,000, one person on 2,500, 3 people on 750, and everything else is below 500, 350 or less. But there's 29 people on 350.
Yeah,
that's
right
wild.
Like
that
people
is
love this
insane.
show, and they're giving you the opportunity to have like your name in the official credits, have voice actors doing personalized videos if you're above a certain margin. In fact, like you might get to be like an extra in a show. Like if I got the chance to be an extra in like a Gurren Lagann redub, I'd throw down money. That's
yo, fuck! Don't say that.
This is what I like to see. Like this was a show that probably wasn't going to get another English release because Funimation, passed up on the opportunity long ago. But this is showing that, bands can band together and show, we want to pay for this. Or if you're going to put out this premium stuff, like letting me be a voice actor, I'm going to throw down big money because of how much I love this series.
Freeman,
I think this is really cool.
Can I just say, if the problem is, I wish that would happen, but if they even considered doing a Kickstarter for any kind of Gurren reward, you know that within 5 minutes...
I'd be sold out.
Someone would have put down the $10,000 reward.
Like, there's no way they do it for something as big as Gurren, but like, if there was some like obscure show that I really loved, that
I almost wish they would. Like, can Nintendo do a Kickstarter for a Zelda thing or something? They would get so much fucking money.
No, I don't want to spend all my money.
Tyler, I don't want. All they need to do is
money.
That's the thing. Like, all these why not do it on Kickstarter? If you know it's gonna
not Nintendo related.
Yeah, okay, but in general, like, look at this. I've never even heard of this anime. Now, fair enough. I don't really follow anime, but like, if I heard a major what if Cowboy Bebop was getting a Blu-ray release through Kickstarter or some shit?
All my money.
That would print money. There's too many nerds these days who are in our age group who are starting to move out, starting to get money, and not like
bullshit. Tim.
Our generation.
Spend all my money.
Like our generation isn't, as far as I can tell, we're not investing money nearly as much as like our parents did. I'm trying to save money, but if I saw something like fucking Gurren, I'd be like, give me the $1,000 one. Fuck. Okay, maybe the 500 tier, but still, I would back the Gurren Kickstarter. Like, I don't understand why.
Anime studios are starting to catch on that kickstarting projects is a good way to fund stuff when you're unsure if there's actually people who would pay for it.
I mean, look at Mighty Number 9. That was a huge flop, but something like this is nothing. This is putting out a Blu-ray with English dub.
Yeah,
right,
that's nothing. There's no risk. The show is done. All you're doing is redubbing it with English voices.
Yeah.
That's fucking nothing.
Tyler is not trying to spend money though. He gets you. He gets you a lot. It's printing money actually.
Now the other side of this coin is this is going to slow down a lot because this is not the kind of project that's going to pick up a ton of steam.
No, but that said, they only need $10,000 more.
Yes. They will get that money.
They'll
get it.
200 people need to decide I want to own this Blu-ray, and they got there. That's all they need.
Yeah.
200 sold. and that's
Yo, do you guys know? I know this is off topic, but what happened to Shenmue?
Nothing.
I'm thinking about Kickstarters.
Dude, they didn't even mention it at Sony's E3 this year, did they?
Nope.
I briefly brought it up. We were talking about Nights into Dream. I'm like, yeah, we haven't heard about Shenmue, but I think my audio got cut off during that.
Or we were like, yeah, we haven't heard about Shenmue. Anyway, let's talk about things that matter.
They reached 3 times their
Yep.
their
Here,
Kickstarter.
while I have Kickstarter open, Shenmue.
No, I'm already up there. Let's see.
Shenmue 3.
Q3, Q4 of next year.
Oh,
is what they're saying.
Gamescom. It says Gamescom 2017 update. It's supposed to be coming through.
This is coming out on PC? I didn't even know that.
Interesting.
I actually totally didn't know that this was coming out on PC.
All right, I'm glad that this project's actually being made and it's not like
Well, you're seeing PC.
being thrown in the trash.
Oh wait, Windows. I'm an idiot. Yeah.
Because I've seen too many Kickstarters just go in the trash after like so much.
Dude, I
money
have
has
so
been
many
dumped into it.
Kickstarters in the trash. It's so funny.
Yo, I've contributed to my first Kickstarter last year, and have you guys heard of this guy named I forgot the artist's name, but the comic is Steven Lynchman.
Nope.
Yo, it's pretty cool. I should find like the first comic panel, but like I don't know. I bought like the first and second volumes, and it was supposed to have come out like this month, and they're like, "Oh, we pushed it. It's coming out in November." And I'm like, "Shit."
Yeah, I backed a bunch of games and crap like Star Citizen and stuff. I wasted a bunch of money. Even
Fucking
remember that
Star
computer
Citizen.
thing I backed last year? That super good laptop computer thing?
Yeah.
Found out I'm probably getting it in October at the earliest, if not
Damn.
November. It'll
Not
be
too
almost
far
a
off.
year. It sucks. I mean, it's still going to be a great thing,
Yeah.
but it sucks that I've had to wait so long when originally it was going to be like, hey, early summer.
Yeah, I feel like most Kickstarters do. Like I remember I backed the
Yeah.
fidget cube when it first got announced, and mine got delayed 4 months for a piece of plastic. So
Damn.
Anyway, let's take a break, and we are going to come back with our main topic. I think. Are we good to take
Yeah,
a
I'm
break?
I think we're good. Yeah, that's it for the week shit.
All
We're
right,
good.
so let's take a break, and when we come back, we are going to talk about esports as real sports. And we're back. Woo.
We back.
We're back.
We're here to talk about a very serious topic because the Olympics Committee in Paris talked about it.
Yeah, not just Korea.
We ain't playing around anymore, boys. The Olympics Committee is discussing whether or not to have, or mention that they were thinking about whether or not video games would be at the Olympics, and whether or not they were and this sparked are video games sports debate.
Yeah.
The ever
Short
famous.
answer, I think yes.
Yeah, do you think they're sports?
I think at this point, at least with things like if you look at, like I watch League regularly, Pro League. The time, money, and effort that these athletes put in, like they are athletes. They do training every day just as much as real sports players, I think. Like,
yeah, they do commit a lot of time and
like considering we're at the point where there's like team houses. I think actually one of the biggest things is how a number of leagues for League are moving towards franchising.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's a big fucking deal. That's real legit sports level kind of commitment to a thing. Madison Square Garden, the group just what is it? What's the word? Invested in one of the major North American teams. T-Mobile today just announced that they were partnering with 2 of the top North American teams.
Jeez.
Really?
That's how
Yeah.
you know they're taking off. It's taking off.
Like it's pretty legit. Those
And you
streams
got,
get a
like-
lot of views.
Now, saying you got places like Buffalo Wild Wings hosting like CS:GO tournaments.
Oh shit,
Right.
really?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I think last year I went to a Buffalo Wild Wings, and they're like, "Oh, this Thursday we're streaming the CS:GO tournament." I was like,
Get
"What
the fuck out of here. That's
I swear to God.
insane.
That,
That
that's how
okay,
you know
it's
you
a real
made it.
sport. It's a real sport. Like
It's a
you
real
can't
sport.
if you can go to the modern quote unquote not really bar, but you know what I mean, like the food bar place.
Yeah,
It has a
yeah,
bar in the
place.
middle, but you go there for food.
Yeah, like your Applebee's TGI Fridays kind of thing.
You're a fucking sport. If you can go in there and be like, hey, look, they're playing Counter-Strike on that TV next to the football game, that's real.
I think it's crazy though, because like there was like a couple spectrums, right, where at least one of them for a long time, like people were saying, like, is it considered a sport? Like, yeah, you have a lot of teamwork, right? You have like you basically do the same things as a sports player, but the biggest like hang up was it's not physical, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not doing anything like that. You're not showing any physical prowess.
I mean, but the flip side of that is you kind of are. It takes a lot of, at least for games like League. Actually, no, you could even say like StarCraft or Counter-Strike. It takes manual dexterity. Like,
Yeah.
I can't. When you see StarCraft players from Korea who have an APM of like 300, that's like 300 of it times that their fingers are flying all over their keyboard and mouse.
Yeah. 5 actions per second. It's insane.
That's a lot of that's a lot of mental, like hand-eye coordination and dexterity.
And it's all through practice and training.
Yeah.
That normal sports people do. Like sports people, yeah.
I mean,
like
I'm gonna be devil's advocate for you guys here because I don't think they're sports. They are 100% sports-like. They're nearly identical, but I think it's the electronic interface that kind of differentiates them a bit. I mean, I personally respect the fact that esports in general take just as much practice and dedication as do as any other sport, and there are even some other sports that do require less physical demands of you. Like I brought this up to my coworkers because you mentioned this today as a topic. I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. We brought up that in competitive archery, you're sitting down.
Oh shit!
It's just a test.
Down, really?
You can sit down and do archery. You can sit down and fire a rifle, which is also another. I think it's summer as well as winter Olympic. The point is, it's not a physically demanding sport. It's a question of finesse.
Mm-hmm.
And in essence, a lot of esports are about your finesse. In Counter-Strike, there's like you play with such high mouse sensitivity because you have the exact spot you've got to go to in a split second to get the headshot on an enemy. And they are very close, but honestly, in my opinion, they don't feel like the same thing. We can treat them like the same thing. There doesn't have to be sports the only thing we broadcast on TV and have in arenas. They can both be treated very similar, but I don't know. In my mind, I see them as different things.
So here's something really funny, Freeman. I totally understand where you're coming from. I still think of them as sports because I think dividing sports and esports is really silly. I think that's like a distinction you almost don't need to make. But at the same time, I'm almost playing devil's advocate to myself because the other half of this question is, should they be at the Olympics? And my answer for that is no. I do not think you should have video games at the Olympics.
I agree with this.
Because part of it is that horrible thing that everyone makes fun of called tradition. Like, I know that they add and take away sports from the Olympics, but the Olympics to me is always supposed to, like, the whole root of it is being a Greek Olympian. Physically as close to perfect specimen as possible. And even for something like shooting sitting down or something like that, there's an essence of needing to be, like, it has to be a skill you can do completely isolated almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard to, because there is so much interweaving, but it's kind of like it's not a modern thing. The whole point of the Olympics is if you just had a rifle that could just work. You don't need electricity to run a rifle. It's something that if you could have the mechanisms for a rifle, you could go back in time and give it to the Greeks and they would be good at it. Or archery has been around for that long, or even running or skiing or any of this stuff. Like, so many of these things are such a simple thing. There's almost too many layers to a video game.
I mean, honestly, when it comes to equipment dependency, that's part of the things that I don't even think should be part of the Olympics. Personally, shooting is a cool talent, but, you know, specifically in regards to archery, as equipment gets better, you have that kind of assistance.
Yeah, that's very true.
Or even when you go into the fact that equestrian is an Olympic sport, and the majority of it comes down to how well did you raise a horse.
Yeah,
like the whole sport of dressage, which is, you know, get the horse to walk sideways, turn it around, walk up and down, do this performance that you trained it to do. And I'm like, that doesn't make you an athlete. That
No,
makes you
that's
horse
extremely reasonable. Actually, that's a good point. I think a lot of I would agree with you that a lot of those sports should be removed from the Olympics.
Yeah, it's not like, you know.
See, here's the thing, and this is getting not political, but kind of social commentary-ish. It feels like the idea today is everyone should be able to be included in everything.
Oh snap! Are we going there?
No, it's not really. No, it's more. Everyone's talking about this because the Olympic Committee talked about whether or not they should have video games in the Olympics.
Right.
Oh, is it one of those things that we should include it because anyone can be in esports?
No. I don't think it matters whether or not it's in the Olympics. I don't think we should say, like, I don't think the answer to the question of is video games a sport should be determined by whether or not it's at the Olympics. I think you could easily say, like, take away rifle shooting, like equestrian and all that crap you were talking about. Take it out of the Olympics and it can still be a sport. But everyone just sees the Olympics as the only worldwide sport things that everyone gives a shit about. And people say, if video games aren't... There's too many people who say if video games aren't there, they don't matter. I think that's the wrong attitude. And I think it would be okay for video games to not be at the Olympics and still be a sport.
I get you.
That's just where I'm going with it.
It's almost like the sports that were on the ESPN Ocho.
Yeah. It's like saying if those became sports, like at the Olympics.
Well, because apparently they are sports, but not sports at the Olympics, but people still consider them sports.
Exactly.
Which they totally should. Freaking dodgeball should totally
Yo,
be
that trampoline dodgeball.
Dude, that was real. That was the
Oh my god. I was talking about that on Thursday, right? At D&D?
Yeah. We need to watch. We need to fucking watch that.
Fuck,
that needs to be at the Olympics. Where can I sign that up?
For those who didn't watch, I mean, we didn't watch it because there was that ESPN 8, the Ocho broadcast that ESPN did like 2 weeks ago. I think we talked about it a little.
It was on August 8th or something.
But
August 8th.
I saw a trailer for it, and one of the shots was like one of those rooms where you go and it's just trampolines all over the floor with dividers between them, and guys were playing dodgeball while on a floor like that. So they were like hopping around and doing flips and throwing the balls at each other. I would just do that for fun, dude. That sounds amazing. Right. That's the kind of thing, it's like, I wish we could all just do that. Like, when everyone gets those giant hamster balls and you just run around in a square. Like, I wish we could just get 6 hamster balls and just run around and smash into each other. That seems fun as shit. But anyway, that's not germane to the topic, really.
No, there are 2 more things I do want to address when it comes to esports being treated as sports. And the first one, this is a major issue, is that all of these sports that you'd consider, Olympic capable, they're all owned by a company. They are a commercial entity. People have to pay to play Overwatch. People have to pay to play Counter-Strike. You don't have to pay anyone to play baseball. And this is one of the 2 issues I have. One is just that deciding which ones can be sports is you're inherently saying to one company, like, you are now the sole owner of an entire sport. And you can do whatever you want with it.
That's extremely relevant too.
And also in that regard is that these games are subject to change. Every week we talk about new patches for Overwatch that are changing how the game is played.
Yeah, it was either last year I think, or maybe the year before. League put out a pretty big update right before Worlds. And they only had 1 patch to correct, and they didn't correct hard enough, and Worlds was kind of fucked. Like, there was a meta for Worlds that didn't... As soon as the next season started, it was gone, and everything leading up to it didn't matter. It was this totally busted meta where it was, like, completely not representative of what the year had been like.
Yeah, and this is something that kind of differentiates esports and sports for me, is that, like, if you decide to change the rules of basketball, you change, like, how long the your shot clock is. Yeah, it's going to change a little bit about how the game is played, but at the end of the day, you're still doing the same kind of physical action.
It still comes down to how well you dribble the ball.
But then one day, Valve decides, hey, we're going to start removing SMGs from the game because we don't like them. That's like if you decided you were going to remove an entire player from a soccer field.
You no longer have two defenders. You now have one defender.
It's these things they feel a little too drastic if we were to look at them from a sports perspective. But
and it changes the whole meta and the dynamic of the game.
But from a game perspective, that's a very normal thing to see happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's too big of a disconnect that I know you'll go back and you'll look at like footage from gymnasts in earlier Olympics where they had a different scoring system or certain moves were legal or illegal. But like you go back and you look at like season 1 of League of Legends. How indicative is season 1 of League of Legends compared to like the current way the game is played?
I mean, Korea wasn't even a server back then, so the European Fnatic won for the won Worlds.
I mean, not just in terms of sports, but in terms of Olympic sports, a lot of these sports are very unchanged, and they've been the same, since the original Olympics.
They've been the Olympic sports since the times of the Olympians.
Yeah. And it's almost this timelessness that makes people appreciate them as Olympic sports. And I don't think, playing the current patch of whatever game is big this year is as timeless.
Here's the other thing. People train for like their whole lives to be at the Olympics, and they try to go more than once, or even if they go only once. League is like you have all these teams and players moving around all the time. Like I know that people do that in sports too, but considering how it seems like with most team activities, there's usually a very small team of like 2 or 3 people, or there's a team of like 20 for something like football.
Yeah.
That team of football players has a few roster changes, but there's usually a core person that stays there for years. There's usually some kind of structure that stays
like
the same.
Face of the team.
Yeah. Or you go to like that 2-person squad, and if those 2 people stop liking each other, they're just gone forever. That just doesn't exist anymore. League and Overwatch and CSGO are all in this weird place where there's like 5 people, but they constantly roster swap. Like every single year, at least half the teams in League swap like half or more of their roster around.
Yeah, this is something I don't really get about the team swapping that up. But like all my buddies I used to play Counter-Strike with, they exclusively talk about the pro teams. And it's every day is so-and-so is leaving so-and-so team to join up with so-and-so from this other team, and they're reforming this team. And it's like, I can't follow this shit anymore.
Yeah,
I don't
get that either.
I don't follow teams anymore because I don't know who's going to be on the team next season.
It'd be hard to, what's it called? Fantasy CSGO.
Yo, right?
That exists.
Does it? I'm not surprised.
Fantasy League. Yeah, they used to be a lot bigger, but back before that whole. Remember when that whole CS:GO betting site thing bubble collapse happened?
Oh, CS:GO Lounge, it was the best.
Yeah. Before that, there were lots of fantasy leagues. One of the league streamer who I watch, PewDiePie, he used to like over a year ago, even 2 years ago. He used to advertise for one of the LOL fantasy sites.
Damn.
They seem to have died down a lot because I don't think the people who do fantasy football are the same people who want to do fantasy league. But it totally was a big a business for a few minutes.
Sounds interesting enough, especially with the very, very dynamic player switch ups between teams, like constantly moving, like nothing's ever static.
I feel like even with football, you trade players at the beginning of the year, and unless there's a special exception, that doesn't usually change that much during the year. Like, if a player from the Yankees or the Red Sox leaves during the year, it's like, holy shit. Whereas
my entire shit.
Literally, there's a player in League in North America named Dardoch, who's like one of the best junglers we have, but apparently he's super toxic. He spent last year with Team Liquid. This year he switched to a team Counterlogic. I only say Liquid because they're one of the big gaming. Like, they have teams for everything.
Yeah.
Basically.
He switched over to Counterlogic Gaming at the start of this split, and then he went to Immortals, who was one of the best teams. Then he went to Counterlogic Gaming at the start of this split because let me start over. Last split, he started with Liquid, left because of toxicity, called them assholes, said how crappy they were, went to Immortals, then between splits got traded to CLG for their jungler, and then halfway through this split they gave him up, and Liquid's at the bottom, so Liquid took him back even after he said all this shit.
Damn.
There is nothing like that in any real quote unquote sport.
Unless you're Brett Favre, who just doesn't like retire ever.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, but that's not even that crazy. Like there's players who have bounced around that much.
Right.
I mean, you're starting to see this a little bit in the NBA, that a lot of these people all go to the same team and try and form these super teams.
They did. One of the teams in Korea is currently supposed to be a super team, and it's not doing very well.
And a lot of people don't like it. They just think it's against the spirit of competition, just stack one team. But the thing is, that's kind of what you're trying to do with esports, because there's no restriction on, you know, who can and who can't be on a team together, how much money you can offer anymore.
The only restriction is imports. There is a restriction on how many international... So you can't just be in North America and buy out all the biggest Koreans and make a super team that crushes North America. You have to have... At least in North America, I know the restriction is 2 people here on visas, basically.
Huh.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, too, it's like... Which is strange, because, like, these super teams... They can't think, like, oh, I'm just gonna buy up the 5 baddest motherfuckers in Korea and just expect it to work.
Like I said, it's a KT Rolster in Korea at the end of last year, after SK Telecom won Worlds for the 3rd time. Out of 6 seasons, they won 3.
Damn.
After last season, like everyone who wasn't on SKT, the biggest names in Korea all got pulled onto KT Rolster, and they've had a very rocky season. Where they've been like doing pretty good, but they haven't been smashing like everyone thought they would.
It's all about that team cohesiveness.
But actually, though,
yeah, it's important. Like, and that is what it comes down to. And like, I think it kind of like reinforces the whole like sport dynamic too, because like at the end of the day, or at least most of these sports, right? Like they're very team oriented, and it comes down to how well a group of people can work together to beat another group of people who are trying to do the same thing.
And that's why I think it can be a sport, but definitely not an Olympic sport.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, like I think there's a lot of discussion on both sides of whether or not it's a sport. I don't know. I definitely agree with you, Freeman. I don't know, Tyler, if you definitively think where you definitively come down on if it should be at the Olympics or not.
I've had mixed feelings, but like it's always kind of been like a dream of mine actually since I was a kid. So I'm like, oh man, it'd be really cool like one day, you know, like video games will like be like ranked among like actual sports. Like in the back of my mind it felt kind of weird, but I'm like, you know, it'd be kind of cool. But I used to follow like the old school, like, you know, before MLG was like really a thing. Like I watched like competitive Halo and like a lot of competitive Unreal 4, right? Back when Fatality was a thing.
Fatality.
For anyone old enough like to know that fucking reference, but like, yeah, I think he fell off the face of the earth though. But like, man, like that was like cool though. Like I was really into that stuff, but even back then, I always like even like when I was a kid, I was like, you know, it's probably never gonna be a thing. Like people don't take games seriously. Like as it is right now, you know, like it's a big, you know, media thing, but I never imagined it getting so big. But now it kind of has. Like you got people filling out stadiums, right?
Yeah.
To watch this stuff.
Right. Dude, I was at Madison Square Garden for the semifinals this year for League.
Yeah.
And I could not believe that they had like sold out the entire house.
Yeah, like you asked me 10 years ago. Ask me 10 years ago, right? Like, oh yeah, like 10 years from now, CS:GO or like this game called League of Legends is gonna be in Madison Square Garden. I would have been like, you're a fucking liar. There's no way.
Told me 10 years ago there was a game called CS:GO. I would have been like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Well, yeah, like I mean, or like someone comes to me and says like, oh, there's an iteration of CS:GO in the future, and it's gonna be like played in Buffalo.
There's never going to be another Counter-Strike after Source. You're crazy.
Who would ever want
Yo, actually, after Source, the fuck are you talking about?
Why would you want to play anything but 1.6, dude?
Man, I remember Go was like...
after Melee.
They made a game after Halo 3? Why?
Why?
What was the point?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think, like, now that I think more about it, like, I think it's more of a sport. I think if they do, I think they should do some more regulations towards it. Right, like they need to like give it some more time to flourish. Some people may like disagree with me about that, but like,
I mean, that's kind of where franchising is coming in with League now.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. Like, League is run by Riot Games. Riot Games makes all these rules.
Also, the other thing too is I just realized I made a point like this a while back, not during the podcast, but like while I was thinking of the topic. You also got to think of like trends, right? Like, especially like, I mean, I'm not saying fighting games are going to be there, but like you take a look at Evo, right? Anything that's not melee is going to die out eventually.
Yeah, dude, even though recent Street Fighter isn't played for like more than a year or so because it's like, oh, look, the new arcade edition's out. And everyone's like, well, fuck that. We got to play the new one.
Well, I don't even think that. I think there's... I mean, no, I think Street Fighter 2 is still alive mostly, right?
Sort of.
But like...
This leads into the question I wanted to ask is, how do you pick which games are actually played? Because like, right now, you look at the Olympics, and everyone was flipping out about like rugby sevens being included as, not like a full sport. What do they call them? Like a trial sport. But the thing is, based on popularity, rugby sevens was above and beyond more popular than every other sport they tried out that year. But I don't think it made it through to being a full real sport, unless I'm wrong about that one. But, you know, at that point, that was a popularity contest. And even when it wasn't. So I don't know, like, what conditions do you say, yeah, StarCraft 1 is the Olympic sport, not StarCraft 2?
Or do you do both?
I don't know.
And is that different enough?
I think it's the trend. It really is a trend. Like,
I think there would need to be a new event. Like the E-Olympics.
Well, hold on. This is something we haven't discussed yet. This really bothers me because I'm a fencer. And they don't let all varieties of fencing every year at the tournaments at the Olympics because they think they give out too many medals for fencing. Just for anyone who doesn't understand how fencing works, there's 9 members on a team, 3 people of each weapon type: saber, foil, and epee. So I'm just gonna look at men's only. Men's, there's 3 medals given out: gold, silver, bronze for each of the individual weapons. And then there's the team event, which gives out 9 medals of each type. So that's 27 medals given out during the team event and 9 in the individuals. That's 36. That's 72 medals across men and female, if they were to do the full one. The Olympic Committee says that's too many medals for a single type of event. So they don't let one weapon type fence every year at the Olympics per gender. And the last Summer Olympics, no men's saber, which is the only thing I wanted to watch because I'm a men's saberist, and that was bullshit. So the thing is, if they do let esports in, esports are going to be a category, and they would limit the number of games allowed because they can't give out too many medals.
Right.
So
right now it's very far in between for like. I mean, I wouldn't say that like they're not going to include all the games from Evo, right? They're probably going to stick to like the big.
They're probably not going to include anything from Evo.
But like, let's say you did Counter-Strike and you didn't split based on gender. It's just pure. This is the team.
I mean, you can't really split based on gender, honestly.
Yeah.
You're at 15 medals right there on a Counter-Strike team. Gold, silver, bronze. League is what? It's also 5 players. Same, 15 per.
Overwatch,
so if you go by that logic, you've got room for 5 games before you're at the point, or no, less than 5. You're at 4 games before they come in and say, whoa, that's too many medals. Stop that. So the question is, what 4 games are Olympic games?
But are they also related enough? Like you're saying, fencing that's literally variations on the same event. That means you're saying that League is close enough to Counter-Strike to overlap.
Epee fencing and saber fencing are like
Freeman,
not even comparable.
Trust me, I totally believe that. But at the end of the day, I know this is a gross oversimplification. For someone who can't tell the difference, it's not as different. But if you show someone a screenshot of League and a screenshot of Counter-Strike, there's no way you can confuse those.
I'm going to say the opposite. Someone who's not into video games is going to look at both and say those look like the same thing. You are standing in front of your keyboard playing a video game. Someone who's not in the know is going to think they're so similar.
I think if you say they're both video games, that's it. But if you
said you're both fencing.
If you see 10 seconds of either game, There's no way you think that they're the same game, or even
I'm not
close to
I'm
the
not
same.
talking about looking at the game. I'm talking about looking at the player playing the game. The full picture. You're watching a player play a game. A player playing Counter-Strike and a player playing League look very similar.
Oh. I thought you were saying the game. Well, I'm talking more about directly to the game versus directly to watching people fence. I understand that people are involved.
I'm talking about the sport itself has to include the athlete, and for a lot of outsiders, that's what they are going to look at. That's why NBC gets their ratings so high, because they push all these Olympiads as being these huge American heroes, and that's this big marketing thing, is you show off the athlete doing their art. I don't know if I could show off Baker doing his shit playing League and expect people at home to go, wow, look at how inspirational he is.
Yeah, but the game is so tied to what's happening on the screen. Like with a fencer, you can see a fencer do something. If you see a gamer in front, like without a computer, they all look the same. They look like dorky nerds.
But I'm telling you, those who aren't in the know, which includes a lot of the Olympic Council, aren't going to think they're that different.
I understand that, but I'm saying if you're going to include all the aspects of the sport, like it is too, in my mind, it's too tied together. Like you can take a guy, put a sword in his hand, and stand him next to another guy with a sword in his hand, and the swords are different styles. But when you put a fencing outfit on, they don't look, just standing there, they don't look that different. If you take a League and a Counter-Strike player and just stand them there, yeah, they're not going to look that different, but that's not their full uniform. Their uniform is what's on the screen of the game, and as soon as you see that, they look completely different.
I mean, you just triggered the shit out of me, because I can tell...
But you just triggered the shit.
I know, but...
I don't need to look at your weapon type. By your uniform alone, I know which style of fencing you're going to be using. And that
so is the uniform that different? I don't know.
Yes, they are all different.
Okay.
They're all very different. And that's what I'm trying to
say.
I
agree. I think, Freeman, it is a different thing.
But, like, don't get me wrong. I'm saying that, you put a game in front of me, I know exactly why it's different from every other game. But you're not going to get that from the general public. I
totally get that. I'm saying it feels like you can't just show that. You can't just show guy sitting at computer.
But I'm saying they are going to.
I would hope an Olympic committee would look deeper than that, because it is their job to do that. I don't know. It's so complicated. Yeah, it doesn't even matter, because we already like you and me have both on the camp of it shouldn't be the Olympics anyway.
Yeah,
but and if there's an E-Olympics, the E-Olympics knows for sure what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
Yes, logistically, it's a murky area, but it's almost an irrelevant argument, because we're both in the camp. It's not even going to be at the Olympics. It should be its own thing.
The thing is, I'm just speaking because they're talking about it possibly, and I could see them making it like a trial sport if they select a particular one.
This is actually, so now we've actually kind of circled back. I had this point in my mind, and we kind of got away from it. I think you mentioned this, freedom of teams owning a sport, but this is a private sport. Like, beyond owned by Riot Games, we're also in the era of teams and identities going beyond just one sport. Like, TSM, or Team Liquid, like I said before, Counterlogic Gaming, Cloud9, they all have players across multiple games.
That's correct.
Traditional sports, like outside of, okay, this person does 5 different kinds of ice skating, or potentially different types of, like saber and epee for fencing. I know, Freeman, I'm sure people wouldn't do that, but theoretically,
sure.
For the example. But there's no Yankees of football.
But hold on, just to chime in real quick. Even though they are TSM, it's not the same players. Like, you don't see...
No, but it's still the same brand. Again, if you're going to say that the general public won't know the difference, if they see some guy in front of a computer with a TSM uniform on, they're going to be like, why the fuck is this guy getting a gold medal for this game, and this other guy wearing the same uniform is getting it for another game? That I don't see the difference of.
It's kind of like someone who's American getting a medal in one sport, and someone also wearing an American uniform getting a medal in another sport.
Well, yeah, but that's not a private organization.
No.
Like, that's someone who, I mean, yes, that like not earned the right to be there, but they're like sponsored by the same things. It's the fact that it's a private for-profit organization versus under your country's flag just feels so different.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, if they were at the Olympics, you wouldn't see Team TSM at the Olympics. You'd see by country. Like, that's the thing. I think it was during the last Winter Olympics. Basically, every Canadian hockey player went home, and they were all on like this all-star Canadian team. And
But
it's cool because they're not playing under their usual brand.
But exactly, then the team doesn't play as well.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
Isn't the point of the Olympics supposed to be that you're like that's this thing we were talking about with the superstar teams? Then you're just forming a superstar team.
I mean, that's kind of what we did for the NBA, and we rock it every single year.
That's because no one else even plays basketball more than 5 minutes.
Pretty much.
That's like saying Korea wins StarCraft every year because no one else even bothers playing fucking StarCraft.
Hey man, the United States win the World Series every single year. Uncontested.
All right. Let's answer our 2 questions because we've been going for over an hour or like 45 minutes now, and the whole point was this doesn't take as long. We've had a long, good discussion.
Yeah.
Is video games a sport? We're gonna go down the Discord. Friedman.
No.
Okay.
No, it's not a sport, but I think it can be comparable.
Is it an esport?
I think esports and sports could be like neck and neck, close rivalry, but I do think there is a distinction.
But you would call them esports, but you would not say that esports are the same as sports.
Yes.
Okay.
I would not.
Tyler, same questions.
I'm gonna say it's a sport. Screw it.
So you're gonna say, and so it's an esport, and esports are comparable to sports.
Yeah, I'm gonna say so. Like only because just the teamwork aspect and like the hours you put into it, and like you kind of made a good point earlier about it being very dexterous, and like I think about like practice and training go into like automatic motor functions, and like that goes into like other strategies which other sports kind of like deem with or like
quick question. If you took out the team aspect and you focus on single player stuff like fighting games, or even you just did like 1v1 in Halo, do you think that's more comparable, or you think the team component plays like a heavy role in it not being a sport?
I think both. I think both can be, because like even if you're still playing single, right, you still have a lot of that like automatic training, but at the same time like you have to adapt to what your opponent's doing.
Yeah, there's a lot of knowledge that goes into it, like knowing your matchups and stuff like that for fighting games especially.
Yeah, it's
like oh shit, I'm fucking Zangief in Street Fighter and I'm going up against Ryu. How do I handle this guy?
Yeah, especially like also like counter picking maps, right, in like Melee for example, where like some people are like, oh, like Marathon Battlefield is like an okay map because of his sword range, right?
Yeah.
Or Fox on Final Destination because like you can just shoot your lasers forever and
find people off the map and laser short jump.
Yeah, and like that comes with like all the training, but at the same time, right? It's like you got to know what the main meta is, like what everybody else is playing, and like you have to know what they're probably gonna go for, like their power moves, which is what you do in like basketball, right? It's like, oh, that mother, or like basketball or any other sport, it's like, oh, I know
that guy dunk on me.
Can't line up, but like even better though, it's like because if you watch, right, like I guarantee you, right, like at least the knowledgeable players, like they're not just going off and partying, right, like after the game, like they're probably going back to their room and it's like, okay, we're playing against this team next week. How'd they play this week? Oh, hey, I noticed that this guy took like a header and he's playing in this or this upcoming game. I'm going to exploit that.
So, side note for that comment, in Korea, SKT's been on a slump recently, leading into playoffs because playoffs are starting now before Worlds in a few months. And I think it was like today or yesterday, they made it to the second. They start at the bottom of playoffs, and there's the potential for them not to make it to Worlds this year. And everyone's like, "Oh my God, they're slumping." In their second round of playoffs today, they 3-0'd their next opponent, who was potentially going to beat them. And in an interview afterwards, one of their players said, "We spent all 8 players had a 6-hour meeting just to talk about banning phase for this matchup, for just this match."
Yeah, man. It's all about the mind games too. Like, you're trying to get into the heads of your opponent, and if you do, like, that's a key victory.
Yeah,
it really is. Like, and that's what everybody does. Like, the sports, like the game, like the next matchup starts before the match even begins.
Yep.
And I think that like is that kind of stuff. Like, especially like players that don't just like go into the matchup and like, all right, I'm gonna play like this. It's like the ones that extend beyond the match, right? Like, that's what makes, like, you know, a good player or athlete even better or even great.
Yeah. I'll throw my answers in, since I think you're done for done.
Yeah.
I don't think I think video games will always be esports. I don't think we'll, for at least a couple more decades, I don't think we'll hit a point where they're called sports. But I do think esports are synonymous, or will be synonymous with sports, because there's another thing we didn't actually bring up. In the past few years, at least in League, again, because that's the game I follow, I know, there's been an explosion of support staff. Like, before, back when esports started, it was just guys playing together doing what they could. Now there's like coaches. Like in League, it used to be there was just 5 players on stage and they would just ban champions, whatever they wanted, and do it all themselves. Now they have a coach on stage with them, helping them through the ban phase, who then leaves when the game is going to start.
Yeah, dude, Counter-Strike had the same thing. This is controversial, that they used to let a 6th player be your coach, and they could see what other players on your team were seeing. Like, they couldn't ghost or any. Well, I mean, you can't ghost Counter-Strike when you're playing live. The point is, you were essentially a 6th man was on there giving call-outs, and it was a huge strategic element. And they were like, "Nah, get rid of it. It's clearly just like a crutch for real players to use." But the thing was, it was a real thing. There was a player who their whole job was to analyze the game going on around them, and there's so much metadata that one player is just taking in, and you don't see that for just regular video games. Like, this has gone above and beyond in terms of competition.
Yeah. And that's actually, so there's a discussion in League, should the coach be on stage for the whole game? I think the answer is definitely no, because football, baseball, anything, the coach isn't there the whole game.
Yeah.
They have their chance to tell you what to do and to give general, like the coach on stage, like there's a League podcast I listen to from casters at Riot, that they do every week, and they had the coach of TSM on, the head coach, last week, and he was talking about how the coach is basically on stage. They go through ban phase with the team to react to what the other team is doing, and then they have about 30 seconds to say, "Okay, guys, here's what we need to be thinking about in the early game," and then they leave.
I mean, you look at football, it's kind of the same way. You can't talk to the players when the game clock's running, but when you're not currently playing a game, coach can give any advice he wants. But when the game is being played, the coach is not playing the game. The players are playing the game.
The players are playing, and that's why it comes down to them. But that's another reason I think esports are becoming more comparable to regular sports.
Definitely.
Because before, it used to be such a do-it-yourself kind of on your own. I'm just great at Street Fighter because I can mash buttons really quick in the right order. Now it's like, I have someone who watches me play, and after the game is like, "Okay, you need to start thinking about this more. Like, you need to start roaming more." Or in fighting game, you're getting hit by air moves too much. You need to think more about your foot game or something like that. Like, that's, as those things evolve and esports kind of just sucks in more stuff that sports do so well, I can't help but think esports is going to be, for the mass market, for the general public, different, but will be basically the same, even more going forward. And then the second question, should esports be at the Olympics? I think this is a much quicker answer. Friedman?
No.
Tyler?
Not right now, no.
I'm going to say no also. What do you mean not right now, Tyler?
I don't know. I kind of like made the point earlier, like maybe later, because I feel like it's one of those things that we're just gonna eventually go to at some point or another. I feel like, you know, it's good. It's just gonna reach that point where it's inevitable. Like everybody wants to know how CS:GO is gonna go, or like games like it, right? And yeah,
But do you
that's
think?
how I feel.
Do you think? I threw out the
It's
idea of a Olympics.
Oh, an E-Olympics. Oh, I mean, yeah, probably like something that goes hand in hand with it. Maybe.
Do you think that is more likely, or do you think it's more like that? I'll throw that out as a question to you because I already talked about this to both of you.
Yeah.
Do you think it's more likely that they would be added to an Olympics, or would there be an E-Olympics?
I think it'll be an
definitely see an E-Olympics.
I see an E-Olympics like that supplements like one of the Olympics, maybe, or yeah, you know what? Maybe you're right. Like, because I know, yeah, they run Winter Olympics and Summer Olympics. They might just have like an E-Olympics
during one of the in-between years that there normally isn't an Olympics.
Yeah, I could totally see that now. Now that I think about it,
I think that would be really good.
Go there. Yeah, I think regardless is gonna be like at some point. If it's not now, I think soon.
Here's
like,
the other thing,
the
though.
Next 10 years.
Here's actually something I just thought of. So, we talked about how, like, League is owned by Riot, Overwatch is owned by Blizzard, blah, 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 blah. Private sports. If there is an E-Olympics and they start offering games, who determines what the rules are for that game? Because then you're basically adding, like, the Olympics committee is just deciding that they now run how this game works.
Oh my god, we got a scenario like with Commander and Magic where it's run by an outside rules committee that
but kind of still supported within Wizards. Like, yeah,
like you're in this ambiguous gray zone where no one's really in control, but everyone's trying to like keep things similar.
Yeah, it's so much. The internet age is such a weird thing for it.
Definitely.
Because you don't even have to have, like, obviously for lag and shit, probably you still do it, but technically you could run it all remotely. You could have an only stream Olympics.
So there's one thing that just jumped to mind that I realized none of us have brought up, and this is the number one reason I don't, in my head, consider esports athletes to be real athletes, is that I don't know any of their real names. I'm a Cutie Pie is my favorite League player, and I don't know his first name. Because no one goes by their real names when they play these games. Everyone has an alias.
Handles, yeah.
And I don't know. It makes it feels distant from real sports where no one uses an alias.
I guess that's fair, but I mean, it's not like.
I mean, that could change.
But it's not like. You know a team name in my mind.
But like the athletes are the things that matter here. The athletes are the ones competing.
But if you actually care about the sport, you usually do know. Like, I don't know who's on the Yankees now, but I knew that Derek Jeter was on the Yankees when I was growing up. I knew his name.
But you watch and you see players' names on the back of their jerseys. You'll learn. But like, if I see a jersey that says like, "Oh, look, Get Right is playing CS," I don't know if he still plays anymore. I'm like, well, what's his actual name? Who is this real person?
I think it's in the internet age. It's too easy to hunt down that real name if you really care, and it's almost easy. It's almost more exciting. I think it's kind of cool to be like, "Here's what my handle is." Instead of...
No, I'm not arguing it's cool. I'm just saying it makes it feel not like a real sport because no one's using their real name.
But they just call everyone by their last name in real sports.
And that would be more legitimate. I'm not endorsing this as something we should actually do, but I'm saying that this is one of the things that makes it feel very different.
That just feels like if that was the barrier, that feels so arbitrary.
But like, I want you to imagine at the Olympics, they're presenting the gold medal and they call up someone by their league name.
Yeah, but see, with League, what they do is they've started doing this during broadcasts. When they show the name on screen, they have blah quotations username blah.
But generally speaking, no one uses their real name.
Yes. But it seems to me like with League, they are trying to use the real name and the username. Like, because the username is so much... Like, because it's so quick. Like in hockey or soccer with a fast-paced sport, they don't say the full name. They just say the last name because it's one word. That's what they usually do in league. They're like, oh, this person's doing this thing. Da, 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 da. You need that speed, so you have to have a shortened thing. Whereas, and then in the interview or when they're doing like an on-screen, like, here's who's in this role, it's blah, jerkface blah. I can understand how that seems weird, but I also think in the age of the internet where we all have a username, most people at this point have a Facebook, and a lot of people change their Facebook or have a Twitter handle, and it's not just their real name. So many people go by an online persona. Like most of the people I watch on YouTube,
Twitter, they changed so you don't have to go by your handle. You can pick what your name is because a lot of people wanted to be what their real name is. Because there was this lack of association between your handle and your real name, and I think that's what's kind of caused this divide between real life and what you see in the game.
Yeah, but I think there's still so many people on the internet who just go like. There's so many famous YouTubers who are just like Smosh Brothers. You can know their name is Smosh because is their name even Smosh? I don't even fucking know.
Their name is not Smosh because they put their name in the credits.
Well, there you go.
But their first name in their video, but their brand is called Smosh.
But that's what they're known by. They're known by the Smosh Brothers. They're not known as whatever and whatever.
Anthony and Ian. They're known as Anthony and Ian.
I'm Freeman. You cannot try to throw it out there as people don't know the names and then throw those names at me. You care enough to know, and you know the names. I don't give a fuck about the Smosh Brothers, and I have no clue what their names are, but I know that brand.
I know it because I watched one of their videos.
Shit.
Fucking...
I don't learn someone's first name from watching a league match.
Yes, you could. You totally could. That's what I'm saying because they have it on screen.
I'm not talking about watching the broadcast. So they do like behind the players, like during an actual live game. I don't know the last name of the player who's playing right now.
You don't just watch League. You watch it as part of like LCS or something.
But I don't watch baseball. I like flip channels and say, oh, so and so's pitching for whatever team, and then I'll hear that name somewhere else, and there's that connection. And I think it's lacking when you use handles.
It might. I think it might. I think they should have their real names. That's me, though. You want to make it extra legit.
Maybe it's because Maybe it's because I've gone by a handle on YouTube for fucking 5 years now. 5+ years.
Your handle.
What?
My friends have like known me as like like when they see me go in games like I'm a handle sometimes, but like better to know the real name. It's better to know like the actual face. People want to know the person, know the athlete, write biographies about them and shit. The real American hero. NBC tonight, Timpedia.
Oh my fucking god! All right, we're done. We're done. Let's move on to the questions because. Fucking Kid Creator was nice enough to leave everyone a personalized question.
That was nice. I like.
Thank you.
So yeah, I'm gonna open these up. Oh, Cypher left a comment about making the podcast, which was great.
Yeah, thanks Cypher. Thanks
Cypher and Kid Creator who left everyone personalized comments. We'll do the same thing. We'll go in the Discord order. So Freeman, first question. I'll just read it out for everyone at home. What anime did you enjoy the most this year, and do you think the anime industry will get its shit together with its distribution policies?
So I'll answer the first one. I actually watched less anime this year than I have in previous years. This is the first year I actually hung out with this group and we were playing D&D like 2 nights a week and hanging out. So I had less alone board time to watch anime. But of the shows I've seen, Titan and Hero Academia have both been great shows this year. I spent a lot of the year catching up and watching some shows that came out in earlier seasons or rewatching. I rewatched all of Food Wars and RE0 this year. RE0, it's a little older than a year, but RE0 is great. A lot more cutesy anime this year just because I've been hanging out with our buddy Luigi. So if you like cutesy anime, Kobayashi's Dragon Maid is probably one of the greatest animes I've ever seen in that genre. Yeah, I'm almost done with Yuri on Ice. If you can handle the gay stuff, this is a very good show. Literally anything they watched on the Twitch stream a couple weeks ago was probably one of the highlights of the last 2 years in terms of anime. There's been some good stuff. A lot has slipped through the crack for me, and I'm trying to catch up, but I literally don't have time to do anything. Whether it's watch anime or anything else.
Yeah,
But
boy.
in regards to your second question, will the anime industry get their shit together? No. We're about to enter the darkest timeline. Everyone is ramping up who's acquiring what. We're not going to see any kind of centralized channels like we did where Crunchyroll and Funimation had 90% of stuff and the last 10% no one had. It's now going to be every network has 3 to 5 shows that you have to pay $5 a month to see. So no. I'm gonna keep complaining about it every single week because it gets worse and worse. But that's
So we're gonna go from having all these TV channels that you have to pay for to like Netflix and one other company doing streaming of everything to then all these companies having their own walled off thing, and then the new company is going to have the overarching subscription where you pay us $30 and we give you access to everything that all the subscriptions.
And that company is called Cablevision.
Jeez. Cablevision. If it was Cablevision.
Tyler, did you finish Injustice, and what are your thoughts on it so far?
So I guess you could say I caught up. Well, I sort of caught up, right? I didn't finish it. Apparently, it's an ongoing series, right? There's years 1 through 5, and I've read years 1 through 5, and now they have this like other thing going on, where it's like a parallel story with like Harley Quinn and Joker, and they're doing stuff in year 1. So I haven't been paying much attention to that, but the story overall is pretty great. Like the writing has just been pretty good, and the events from beginning to end and how it just all ramps up is just really. I thought it was really good. I think they handled it a lot better, and I think, and I am gonna say this, I think if DC had this as like their real like overarching story, I probably would have gotten a DC a lot earlier than this. For obvious reasons, they can't, because it kind of goes against their whole like philosophy of how they want Batman and Superman to work. But like they throw out all of those conventional things for like this one story, and it just works. Yeah, so I mean that's how I feel on it. It's a great read. And anyone who's like into Batman and other things, like they should definitely give it a read.
Sweet. And then the question for the two of you: what are your favorite and least favorite Overdank characters?
No shit.
Oh man, my favorite is definitely Diva. I love playing her just because she's an offensive tank, which I like. A lot of the offensive characters are very squishy, especially the flankers. Diva can play a lot of different roles. She can protect the team a lot of times. She can be offensive, and more importantly, she's my best character.
She's very versatile too. I've noticed, especially with like
different roles.
Yeah, especially when they first updated her defense matrix.
Oh my god, that was a game changer.
That was, oh my god, like, oh, people trying to blow up the Bastion, psych, defense matrix.
Oh, you're trying to pop your Zariel? Bam, just matrix real quick, blank that out.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
As for my character that I like, I really like Lucio. It's strange, right? Like
Can't stop, won't stop.
Like for some reason, it's one of those. What do they call them? He reminds me of, not like it's funny because his hairstyle too and everything. Now that I'm thinking about it, holy shit! Wait, I have to remember this character from the
You're jumping from thought to thought.
No, Eddie from Tekken.
Eddie from Tekken.
Fucking, I forgot his name. Hold on. I gotta search his. Now I'm thinking about Eddie Gordo.
Eddie Gordo.
Yeah, Eddie Gordo.
He's got the color scheme.
He's got the color scheme.
He's got the fucking breakdancing swag.
Yeah, man, and like the thing about his character, he's one of those characters in fighting games that like don't stop moving, right? Like if you think of Deadpool, right?
Oh, those like perpetually moving around.
Yeah, like they don't have any still animation. Like they just like they're always moving, and that's what I think of Lucio's character design. Right, like he was meant to not stop, like ever. Like once you go out from spawn,
he's literally always moving around.
He's always moving, and that's how you have to play him. Because if you stop, like he's basically dead. Like all the way down from his shooting to like his healing abilities. Like you have to like zigzag around the team to make sure that everyone's getting at least some sort of heals, right? Or some sort of movement boosting abilities. And I think he's very different compared to the rest of like the way he plays, and that's why I enjoy him so much.
I used to play him essentially the wrong way back when he didn't have a range on his healing; it was just line of sight.
Oh
And
yeah.
I used to always like be careful of my position to make sure that everyone who needed healing was getting it. But because of it, I was focusing more on making sure I was positioned correctly relative to everyone on my team, which was good for team awareness. But it kind of made it a little boring because I wasn't moving around a lot because I was very focused on where's the sweet spot for me to be right now. Whereas
Right.
new Lucio is you're in the action. You need to know where exactly you need to be, and it's not always a safe spot.
No, it's not. Like sometimes you are going to be out in the open, and you're not DPS either. Like you're far from it.
Yeah.
You can get picks. Like you can get picks. Like especially the like a Torb turret or
Or like a
like,
widow who's not paying attention. You can fire off some shots, and she won't know they're hitting her until they get there.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't endorse doing that, by the way, but I do it way too much.
No, what? Not paying attention, shooting.
No,
at
no,
her,
no.
not
Like if
paying
I catch a
attention?
widow not paying attention, I'll just start firing off a bunch of shots at her, and then just like duck out and hope I kill her.
Oh yeah. Oh, I usually do it only to like suppress, like, cause if I scare her off, like that's just enough for her to like not get an opportune shot. Especially if I see her like just sitting there, and
Yeah,
that's like, oh, she's probably got a shot lined up. I might as well just like see her and like spoop her off.
yeah.
Cause sometimes spooping is the most important.
So spoop.
What's your least favorite?
So my
That's
least
like the other
favorite
part.
is Symmetra, and specifically playing against him. I love playing as Symmetra, but I fucking hate her because I feel like of all the characters in Overwatch, she's the one who has the least amount of counterplay. If anyone complains that she's too strong, everyone says, "Well, then don't get so close to her." Except so many of these characters, you need to be close to do damage, or you need to be on an objective to do something. You can't spend the whole game at max range. And
Oh
if
man,
you
like
get too
Tracer
close to Symmetra,
just dies.
if you get too close to Symmetra, congrats, you lose because she wins if you're in close range, which is the range you need to be in for half the characters in the lineup. I can't play long range Reinhardt against Symmetra. Now I realize it's not a good example because Reinhardt would probably win the 1v1. The point is,
Reinhardt wins 1v1.
it's so little counterplay. There's no aim involved. It's just, were you close enough? And that's what I don't like about her.
Fair.
What about you?
Who do I not like? Is
It includes playing against, or who do you just like hate playing as?
yeah, I say like I don't like playing as Reaper. Like
Really?
yeah, like something about like Reaper's playstyle. And it's like, okay, oh well, what about Soldier being like generic? Like I just feel like Reapers is just very generic. I don't think he has like as many applications outside of like killing the Winston.
Yeah,
or whatever.
He's weird.
He's weird. Like he can be like on a good day, like he can just destroy tanks, but it's like if you're not careful with him, then like he'll just die. Like he like that 250 health. Like, it may seem like a lot for an assault character, but like
Even with his new healing shit, he's still so squishy. I always underestimate it.
Especially like with what he's like given to do, right? It's like the other assault characters, right? It's like Doomfist, he has like the shields and everything.
He's got the mobility. Sombra, Tracer, Genji, they'll have the mobility.
Yeah, they all have mobility, but it's like, oh yeah, well Reaper has his Wraith form, but they can just follow you and then just smack the shit out of you and you're dead.
Yeah.
Like all they have to do is just chase you. You better pray to God that there's a 250 health pack
sitting around,
there.
or Mercy around a corner or something.
Yeah, and if not, then like you're dead. Like, it's just hard. It's not like it's hard to play as him because I've never been able to get like situated with him correctly, and he always just seemed like just not a fun character to play as. Like I like just the feeling of Soldier's gun feels really good, right? Or the weird mobility actions that you do with Sombra are really cool. Like all the other assault characters are right, but like for some reason Reaper just never appealed to me as a fun character to play as.
I get what you're saying. I honestly didn't play him for the longest time because he felt way too like niche. Like there was only certain moments where it's like I need a Reaper right now.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Like if the Winston's fucking me up that bad, it's like all right, break out the Reaper. Like chain out whatever you got. All right, but yeah, that's how I feel about that. Was it Tim? Did you?
All right.
Wait, you got a question.
Yeah, and then I'll stare down the barrel on my question. Which LP did I enjoy the most this year? Due to my busy schedule, I have been way less recordy than in previous years.
Plot twist, it's none of them.
It's been no. That's not entirely true. Some of them weren't great. Shovel Knight I didn't love, and I didn't do enough Command and Conquer, and Far Cry Blood Dragon was disappointing. And Alan Wake wasn't amazing. But I gotta say, there were a few this year that I've really enjoyed. Also, Jedi Academy, the mod I did. Holy shit, that thing was craziness. That was just an insane mod. But some of them I've really enjoyed. Dishonored's just a really fun game. Titanfall 2 is a fantastic game that I still play once in a blue moon. Mad Max is a ton of fun. Tomb Raider, the new one, was really good. And I'm currently loving doing Dragon Age. Playing through Dragon Age 1 again, it's a lot of time and a lot to go through, but I still fucking love that game. All these years in, third full playthrough ever at least, and I still think this game's fantastic, and I'm still having a lot of fun playing it. So I'd probably pick Dragon Age. Dragon
Age forever.
Since I technically started Titanfall 2 last year, like right in December, and then continued into January, if I can count that one, probably Titanfall 2, because that campaign is so good and so much fun to play. But if I have to go with something I only worked on this year, definitely Dragon Age Origins. That game is still great. With the honorable mention of Ground Control, the Aftermath mod that I played. Because holy shit, that mod had a lot of work in it for a game that's that old. So yeah, there you go. And then I guess we'll just close because it's been over 2 hours again.
Oh,
God
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that topic kind of got away from us yet again.
It was fun, though.
Yeah, no, definitely. But it's one of those topics where it feels like we're done 5 minutes in, and then 45 minutes later we're still talking.
Yeah, all it takes is one little spark and we fucking explode.
Exactly.
Oh, shit.
But for closing, I guess we'll just go through. Freeman, what are you doing next week?
I don't even know, man. There's so much shit going on.
There's a reason Magic hasn't been coming out for a while, everybody.
Yeah, it's been rough. My company's moving like 30 minutes south of here, so I have more time on my commute. But no one will shut up about how great our new building is. One of my coworkers moved first, and he started drawing like anime drawings on the board. So I can't wait to see all the shit next week. I'm trying to catch up on some anime so I can start some stuff in this season. My favorite YouTuber, Giga, put out a video where he basically talks about what is trash this season and what isn't, and the what isn't section seems a little small. So I want to see if there's anything really worth watching from this season, or if I should just skip and wait for 3 weeks before I watch more anime. But yeah, that's my week. I am so close to being done. I'm in the last dungeon. Fucking characters are making endgame revelations. Like, all right, real quick Persona tangent. So the whole game, it's all about managing your time. So you go into a dungeon. There's no real way to heal. Like, you can bring stuff with you to help you heal, but like if you start running low on health, you know I'm shit. Congrats. You need to end your dungeon run for the day and plan another day of doing it. I'm now at this point where they give you this like free healing station, where healing used to be mad expensive. So I know it's the end of the game because it's like, hey, we don't want you to get fucked and have to start over because you didn't bring anything. So I know I'm actually at the end of the game now.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Word.
Tyler?
Playing some more Breath of the Wild.
How much time have you spent on it?
Not a lot, actually. I've been kind of busy, like over the weekend. What did I do? Like, I don't think I mentioned last week. I went shooting with Leslie and her dad.
I saw the picture.
Yeah, I shot an AR for the first time.
Nice.
Even though, like, I shot like an M4 and like other rifles like it, but it's like, oh, now you're an American, you shot an AR.
God.
I don't know. I mean, that was fun. But update though, what did I see? I saw Detroit. Movie sucked.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yesterday at D&D, Tyler's like, oh yeah, Tim, if it's because we were talking about movies yesterday. Oh my God, Friedman, I found out yesterday, and I told everybody, and they didn't believe me until they saw it. There is a 9/11 movie coming out next month, starring Charlie Sheen and Whoopi Goldberg.
No way.
It's real. It's real.
Rated R, and it's a totally serious movie.
It's real. It's
oh man,
real.
this poster. Wait, hold on.
Yeah, you already. So it's fucking
real.
weird, man.
Yeah,
but
it
yeah,
wasn't good.
Tyler's like, Tim, don't see Detroit. It's bad.
Yeah, don't see Detroit, listeners. It's not good. Like, I understand the message it was trying to send, and it's supposed to be like based off a true story and everything, but their delivery, like Catherine Bigelow, shame. 0 Dark 30, banger. Was it Hurt Locker, ultra banger? Obviously, it won an Oscar that year. But like, man, I don't know. Man, Falcon didn't even save this movie.
Let me double check what it is at Rotten Tomatoes.
FM2187 didn't save this movie. It got good reception.
Oh, so it might just be you.
It might just be me, Tim. I'm gonna tell you after. Like, I'm not gonna avoid spoilers on the podcast. Okay. I'm gonna tell you this plot device, and you're gonna be like, "What the actual fuck?" It's almost like a really bad joke. Like, it gets like one part, and it's just a really bad joke, and then I just walked out.
Dude, it's at 84% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, trust you might. I mean, I don't know. You might like it. You might like what I'm about to say, but I wasn't a fan. But let's see.
Right.
I didn't see. Yeah, it could just be me. Honestly, it really could. What else? What else am I doing? Maybe playing some. Oh no, I won't be playing D&D. I think that's it. I think I'm just playing Breath of the Wild and just doing more. What's it called? Prep for my game, and that's it. That's all I got planned.
I spent all the past week just playing games a whole bunch. I got a bunch of some extra recording done. Started the 3rd LP. It's not going to come out until Sunday, or maybe sooner. I got to see how I work with these time slots right now. But I started recording Metro Last Light.
Ooh, cool.
Because I really liked 2033 back when I played it a few years ago, and I'm about to sneeze.
Oh, sneeze.
Plus. Thank you. But I also bought another game and have a 3rd game downloaded that I was telling Tyler about, and I have a 4th game as a secret, ultra secret, like Christmas present level LP that I've been thinking about.
And the queue is building here.
The problem is, Val is coming home. She, I think I said last week, she went home for a little while, and she was going to be gone till Friday, and she's coming back tomorrow. So I have lost all my lonely bored Tim recording time. So now I have to go back to things like being in a relationship. But I'm going to try to keep at least slightly heavier stream of stuff going. Apparently at work we're still kind of in the shit. Apparently we're gonna basically be working overtime until the end of next month, potentially. Not crazy overtime like we were, but because apparently our year for this project ends at the end of September, and we're trying to get as much done as we can, and there's just a ton of work.
That's gross.
Yeah, I'm probably going to end up going to the office on Sunday, which sucks. I don't know. We'll see how we're doing at the end of the week, but I have a party to go to. I have my coworker, I think I mentioned to you guys, invited me and Val to basically a game party, or like a game night.
That's nice.
Game night, that's what it is.
Making new friends.
Yeah, and supposedly they're going to play Halo and Catan and some other stuff maybe, and I'm like...
Halo.
Tyler, you don't even know. I have all...
Halo.
I am mentally stretching my... cracking the knuckles already. Like, I gotta...
Wait a second. Which Halo?
3.
Okay.
I think. Actually, you know what? I don't know for sure.
Rusty.
I don't know for sure. Doesn't matter.
I had the chance to play Melee again this weekend. I forgot how rusty I got at this game.
Look, I'm pretty sure. Look, I'm sure I'm rusty. I'm positive. But I'm gonna do everything in my power to low-key try to smash these guys. Like, I really want... I really hope we play 3 and I just crush people into the dirt.
Listen, just BR's only lockout.
Look, Tyler, if I get a BR, I'll be fine. I can demolish people. It's okay. I'm bringing my Xbox. I'm bringing my Elite controller with me, and I'm gonna make sure it has fresh fucking batteries in it, and I'm just gonna try to clean some clocks and fucking demolish some people.
Well, I'll let you know if they start with the ARs, the game's over. They fucked up already.
Dude,
That's how you know
see, here's the
they're
thing.
scrubs.
This is apparently a semi-regular thing until work got crazy for that but I'm really hoping that I can just like I'm gonna be real calm about it so that if I get demolished, I'll be like, oh, I kind of always sucked at this game, ha ha ha. But if I smash them, I'll be like, fuck yeah, I did it.
Yeah, if you don't roll these people, Tim, I'm disowning you.
It depends on which Halo it is, because if it's not 3, then I have to learn the ropes again really hard. But if it's 3, it'll just come back to me.
If it's 2, if these dudes are still playing 2,
dude,
you're done.
You're done, Tim.
It's over.
You're right. If it's 2 and these guys play 2, I'm done. There's no way.
It's over.
I fully expect to lose.
Kids still play 2.
I like how you're calling them kids. They're all older than me.
Kids are just people. It's the term.
People.
Like all my I'm the youngest coworker by a margin. At least of the people who I know are going to be there, I'm definitely the youngest.
They're definitely playing Halo 2. You're done.
They better play Halo 3. I'm hoping that they're playing 3. Because if they're playing 3, I'm just going to be like, just give me the BR and Spartan Laser and I'll be fine.
The Spartan Laser.
Dude, Tyler, no joke, before BungieNet went away, there were clips that I shared to my account on BungieNet, and all of the 3 of them were like double kills with the laser.
Oh, yeah, I got the achievement. Everybody got the achievement, Tim.
What, the Mongoose one?
No, well, yeah, everybody got that one, but there was the double kill with the Spartan Laser one.
Dude, it's fucking... Shut the fuck up.
Everybody got it, Tim. You're not special.
Oh, my God. All right, podcast's done. The weekly podcast canceling has just happened, and the podcast is canceled again.
We did it. We made it 15 episodes. That was it.
Just like episode 16, we're getting canceled in episode 15.
We're getting canceled.
Jesus. All right. But we got to go because it's 11 o'clock. I got to get to bed and do some cleanup in the apartment and shit. But thank you for listening, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the TNT podcast. We almost went for 2.5 hours without even trying. But
oh, my God.
Check back next week for all the shenanigans of the TNT podcast.
See you next time.
Bye, everybody.
See you.